Hey, all you cool cats and gamers. Welcome to Victory Lap, the GDQ Hotfix show that highlights recent world record and personal best runs and the runners who made them happen. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight I've got Amber CXC with me. But before we get into her double PB run, let's have a couple announcements. Tomorrow, November 18th, is the final day to apply as social media and chat moderator volunteer for AGDQ 2023 online. Go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. Also, game and volunteer submissions for Frost Fatales 2023 are open now until November 26th. You can find information at gamesdonequick.com/framefatales or the GDQ Twitter to submit your games and volunteer applications. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass things over to Amber and let her explain what the run is that she's about to showcase. Take it away.
Hey, hi, hello. I'm Amber. I use she, her pronouns. I speedrun Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've speedran Mario Kart 8 when it was on Wii U. So it's been probably, 6 or 7 years now. I don't remember. This is my only major speed game. I've ran a couple other things, but nothing, not to the extent that I've ran Mario Kart. You can follow me on Twitch or Twitter if that website manages to stick around for longer than another week, or find me on co-host or something like that. Audio, from what I understand, is going to be pretty quiet, but I do swear a little bit throughout the run, and I think I'm plugging some YouTube content that I've been doing in the first bit of the run as well. But I think the audio will be quiet enough that I'll just be able to talk over it anyways, and it won't be a big deal. Let me think here. How do I want to just start things off? Character choice, kart choice. So we're picking Roy, who is the absolute best with my poorly drawn heart. We're not picking Waluigi. We're not picking Donkey Kong. Those are the three fastest characters when combined with Bitty Buggy, who is the absolute best. We love Bitty Buggy here. And Roller Tires are also the absolute best. So we are picking Mini Turbo, which is the drifting stat in this game. We're prioritizing that because it's actually more important than top speed, but we still do need some top speed, so we pick a heavyweight character. The balance just plays out that Roy is the best character, along with kart pieces that are suited for going as fast as possible with, Bitty Buggy, Roller Tires, Cloud Glider. This is a run with no items. I kind of passed right over the rules page, but so I'm just going to get started right here with Paris Promenade. This is a track from Mario Kart Tour, the mobile game. There are going to be 6 Mario Kart Tour tracks. Only 4 of them are going to be after cities. 2 of them are going to be original tracks. And the tour tracks that are based on cities have path switching. So in laps 1 and 2, it's going to be about the same thing, but in lap 3, we're actually going to go backwards on the track. And so I actually want to pause immediately after I land here to talk about lines a little bit, because having good lines is really important with going fast. So as soon as I get up the hill, I'm going to show right here. So I came in pretty quickly, tight against this curb. Not as tight as I wanted to, but I can get a little bit tighter. And I'm going to be weaving in between these pipes because that is the fastest line through the track. Obviously, some of these tracks have a little bit more three-dimensionality to them, but for the most part, it's you can think of a lot of speedrunning as getting from point A to point B. And with racing games and with a lot of games, you're getting from point A to point B to point C to point D, etc., over and over again. And so making sure that the lines are smooth going from one to the next is really important. However, with drifting, you actually do need to swing out a little bit. It's not just you can't just turn sharply. So figuring out how to make lines that are smooth and also as fast as possible is really important. So I do bump against the pipe a little bit. That's okay. You're going to see me take corners pretty tight. I take a lot of corners pretty tight. I take a lot of edges pretty tight. Here's another example of good lines. So I'm going to pause really quick, make my cursor a little bit smaller, and try to use the mini map here. So I'm basically taking this as tight as possible around this bit. I don't know if that showed up as well as I was hoping it would. I'm going from here diagonally to there and just trying to keep it in as straight a line as possible as I go around this corner. even though there's like, you could think of it as having 1, 2, 3 turns, I'm really trying to make those turns as smooth as possible. And then lap 2 is going to be pretty much the same as lap 1. I already have 10 coins. Coins are one of the most important things in this run because they increase your top speed by a pretty significant amount. They increase your speed by about 2 to 4 seconds per minute of driving, depending on how well you're driving. And here in lap 3, we're actually going to be taking an alternate path that goes backwards around the track. So like the first one looked like this. The first 2 looked like this, right? In lap 3, we're actually going to be doing this, which is pretty cool. Or actually, I think we take this side on both of those. But yeah, it's neat. It's pretty neat. Edited by me. So I do interact with some computers in, I think. Oh, I guess maybe I don't. Maybe I got lucky, but I did miss a trick. And it's worth mentioning that I'm about 30 seconds off of the world record right now. This run, I am still actively trying to beat it. I got this run a week ago. I've been grinding this category, these 16 tracks, a lot recently. So that's where I'm at with that. So that was the first track, and I am also going to take just a moment to mention my splits. So I'm comparing against average segments and not my personal best. But if you are more important, if you're paying more attention to my personal best, you can see that I have 2 custom components. I have a component called average time loss and a component that says PB pace is. So the way that works is it takes whatever my previous segments, like whatever my time loss to my best is, and it divides that by the number of tracks. So it's exactly what it says. It's exactly what it says. The last run, or the last track was 0.25 off of best, but the next track is going to be a little bit worse. And so, I don't actually remember. I think it's a little bit worse. And so the average time loss is going to bump up a little bit. And as long as I can keep my average time loss stat faster than my PB pace stat is, I'm on PB pace. But it lets me compare against average segments, which just looks a little nicer and it's better for my mental. Anyways, moving on to Toad Circuit. This track has some pretty annoying things going on with the computers, and Choco Mountain also gets really annoying with the computers, but yeah, so for whatever reason, even if you get a full boost, the second place computer can get ahead of you, and it's really annoying, and they will steal 2 of your coins, and coins are really important. There are 11 coins on the route, so and I actually missed one of those there, so I'm only going to get 8, -2 because computer stole them, and then -1 because I just missed one. But it's okay because I'm able to get them later because the coins respawn in versus race. The coins don't respawn in time trials, so there's a difference there. Getting around here, these drifts are all going to be mostly, again, about taking as smooth of lines as possible. As you can see on the track here, I'll use green this time. I'll use blue this time. We have a large turn here, and another large turn here, and a large turn here, and we're just gonna try to make that as diagonal. We're gonna try to make those lines as straight as possible, while like just minimizing how much turning we have to do. And you'll see that again in lap 3 as well. 6 PBs in 4 When is it worth detouring for coins if you miss them early? It's generally worth getting them as quickly as you can, but if you go really out of your way, you're not going to be saving that much time. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis. Those 3 coins are generally the ones that I just passed are not ones that you would go for if you're missing them, because the 2 that are after the 2 of the 5 at the very beginning, the last 2 of those 5 are in a better spot for it. So it's track dependent on what things to detour on. And like I said with average time loss, that one was plus a second, so it added effectively half of a second to average time loss because it increased my average by math, right? So here well, for one thing, I'm missing another coin. But I didn't pause in time, but this is a track that has a counter hop that is important. You'll see it again in either lap 2 or 3. I don't remember how I do it in both. Counter hops are a way to charge more mini turbo. It's also just a way to make sure that you're aligned in the right way to take a turn as smoothly as possible. Like I said with lines, you want to make these as smooth as possible. And if you have to hold back a lot to keep your drift more loose, you're kind of losing time where you could just hop a little bit to start your drift at that more outward angle, turn farther, and get a faster boost. I don't know if I explained that super well, but there will be a couple different times where counter hopping is important.
I wanted that coin.
So yeah, I did miss a coin there. Choco Mountain has some pretty important cycles with these boulders that are falling in this section of the track. See if I can pause to point one out. Well, I won't be able to pause to point one out because I get so far ahead of it in lap 1. The computer, or the camera did shake a little bit, but that is a good like lap 1 pace setter. If you get ahead of that boulder, you know that you're on a good pace. And there's another pace setter. Yeah, I do a counter hop there as well. I just hop to the left so that my drift to the right will be more fluid, basically. I did one there as well, I believe. In lap 3, there's another boulder that kind of like describes the pace that you're on, so that's important. And this is 200cc, no items. 150cc has different cycles to pay attention to as well. I don't run 150, so I won't be able to explain them very well, but yeah, there's another counter hop, and this time, because I have 10 coins, I just take a slightly more inside drift, and because I do that, I won't be able to get a UMT as easily, so I just get an SMT and continue to move on. I didn't explain the different tiers of drift, but they're just the sparks there. The blue ones are MTs, the orange ones are SMTs, and the pink-purple ones are UMTs, so mini turbo, super mini turbo, ultra mini turbo. And you can think about getting from each one, from one to the next, as filling like an invisible meter. And if you've heard of soft drifting, then that's charging the meter at the fastest rate while not being as turned as far in as possible. So, sorry, I need to breathe for a moment because I've been talking pretty much non-stop. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, you've been absolutely killing it here on the commentary, so kudos to you.
I've played this game a lot. I know a lot about this game. So real quick, I want to talk about soft drifting. So pretend that this is like the analog stick window that you have, right? Let's take 45 degrees, right? 45 degrees in either direction. This window will charge your drift at the fastest possible rate. Not exactly hard up left or hard up right. It's actually like 44.5 degrees. So if you're just at a pure diagonal, it's not going to work. But if you're anywhere in that range, you're charging at the fastest possible rate, even if you're not holding hard left. So you can be holding up left a little bit, which will drift slightly more shallow, like not as hard in. And you'll still be charging your drifts for the next boost as fast as possible. So that's really important. Coconut Mall has a lot of annoying stuff. It has some pretty important coins. There are 10 coins to get in this route that I take, and I believe I missed 2 of them. Luckily, the coins respawn, but if the audio plays, I think I comment about how good the coins are, and like I think I comment on missing a couple of them, but like still this being pretty good. So getting a trick on those stairs is difficult. This coin is really tough, but I managed to get it. That's one of the harder ones. I missed that coin somehow, which hardly ever happens. This coin is also really tough, and I managed to get it. And then I missed that one. So those are the 2 coins that I missed, which I got 2 really hard coins, and then I didn't get 2 really easy coins, and then I missed a trick. So like I said, I have about 30 seconds between me and world record, and there are a couple of different time losses, mostly from making small mistakes like what I just did there, and just like not getting some tricks that I wanted to get, stuff like what I just did there, which I don't even know how to describe, but it wasn't very good. Coconut Mall is a track that is just so precise. It is incredibly tight as far as like how precise these turns have to be made. And you can really struggle to get anything going. If you make a couple of mistakes, it really is over for the run. And yeah, so not a ton left to talk about right away here. this track has a pretty similar route that you're taking in laps 1, 2, and 3. It's just kind of alternating if you're taking that conveyor or the conveyor on the left. And that's on a specific cycle, so it's consistent every time.
That was good. That one was good.
Anyways, that was Golden Dash Cup, and now we're moving on to Lucky Cat Cup. There are 4 cups: Golden Dash, Lucky Cat, Turnip Cup, and Propeller Cup. Tokyo Blur is, so Paris Promenade, we had the same track laps 1 and 2, and then backwards in lap 3. This one just has 3 different routes in all 3 laps. And this track has a really, really cool thing that I want to point out, sort of relating to lines. So I am going to do what's called a NISC. I don't think that there weren't any NISCs in the first 4 tracks, but a NISC is a no item shortcut. And those are the bread and butter of Mario Kart 8 runs, because this is a pretty glitchless game. As you can tell, we're mostly just taking this physics engine and pushing it to its limits. So I'm going to just release my mini turbo at the right time and hop over this grass, and it's going to work perfectly. But then I'm also going to do a trick off of this ramp. And in doing a trick off of this ramp, there's a couple of different places where you can land after that, kind of depending on where your angle is. You can land in the grass still, then you have to hop, and you still have your boost when you get on the road, but you do lose some time from hopping on the grass. Or, like I'm about to do, you can just land on the track, and that actually sets you up for the perfect line to hit all 4 of these coins, which would bring you up to 9 coins. I think that there is a route that gets 10 in lap 1, but I could be wrong. Either way, there's an easy 10th coin about halfway through section 2, so no worries there. It has the same opening all 3 times, it's just now we're not going this way, we're actually going this way. And we're going to be going this way again in lap 3 and taking another different split. So you can already see, this time it's telling us to go this way, and then the next time it'll tell us to go this way in lap 3.
That felt pretty good.
And not this coin, but the second coin is where we get a 10th one. And just like in lap 1,
That was quick.
I do the hop over the grass and trick and land back on the road, which is able to set me up for a really smooth line as soon as I get across. And then lap 3 here, those thwomps are on a specific cycle as well from when you load into the track, so you can use them as a pretty good reference for how the run is going. I think this one is pretty okay. I don't remember exactly. I want to say I had a couple of bonks that weren't great, and if I had managed to correct some of them, it would have been a gold. It ended up being pretty close, though.
Like 2 of the 3 bonks.
And like I said, the pace says that I'm 5 seconds ahead. I actually am about 2.5 seconds ahead because I'm comparing against my average segments, but you can see my average time loss is better than my PB pace tracker. So I am on PB pace because it is faster than that. Anyways, here we have the hardest track in this run, I would say. Some people would disagree with that. This track, well, I think I would disagree with that too, actually. This track is difficult, but as soon as you start to learn it, it's a little bit easier. Shroom Ridge has the same cars in the same place every time, and getting out of the tunnel there is the hardest part. I'm going to pause and draw on the map again. So the tunnel ends about right here. You have to make a very sharp turn, followed by a very sharp turn, followed by a very sharp turn, followed by a very sharp turn. That sucks. That is just really impossibly difficult on 200cc. And so there's a couple of different routes that you can take. Some people will let go of gas for like a couple of frames to slow themselves down. What I like to do is dependent on what lap I'm in. So because I do it depending on what lap I'm in because of the cars. The cars are in a different spot every time, but it's consistent as long as you do the same thing every time. So in lap 1, it's fastest for me consistently to get a mini turbo, which is the first tier of boost, and then brake a little bit and do just a hop to kind of turn myself and slow myself down a little bit. And then that sets me up to do 2 super mini turbos, SMTs, and then 1 more mini turbo to end the thing. And I think I might have done an SMT as the last one. It's actually a little slower. In laps 2 and 3, I'm going to be doing SMT, 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 empty. So I'm not going to do that mini turbo and a hop to get around that corner because the cars are in a better spot. It really is a blessing that the traffic is static. I agree completely. But anyways, moving on, yes, I did get an SMT in lap 1, which is a little slower, but it's not a huge deal. This drift also features some brake drifting to get around this very, very tight drift. There's not really a good way to do it, but yeah. And this one, we could charge a UMT, which is the 3rd tier, Ultra Mini Turbo, but an SMT is a little bit faster. So here's the SMT, 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 MT. So I do an SMT. Or sorry, no, SMT, MT, MT, MT. My bad, my bad. I'm saying the wrong acronyms.
That's quite a bit.
So super mini turbo followed by 3 mini turbos. Whereas in lap 1, it's just 4 mini turbos, or it should be at least.
It's almost like
This is kind of like RNG manipulation, doing different boosts to change the traffic. No, so we're not changing the traffic. We're changing our strats because the traffic is consistent. The traffic is always going to be the same thing every time. It is fastest consistently to do a specific thing in lap 1 and to do something different in laps 2 and 3 because the cars are in different places at that time. Anyways, now we're moving on to Sky Garden. I don't love this track, but I don't love this track because I am not very good at this track. I wouldn't take any strats that I'm doing on this track and working on them yourself because I honestly need to practice this track a little bit more and get a little bit more consistent with it. You're going to see me make one of the worst mistakes in this run right there, just like completely failing to do a no-item shortcut, a NISC there. Following it up though with one of the best NISCs, getting around this corner early. I'm actually going to highlight something in the next lap that'll look a little bit better. But yeah, this drift right here, this no-item shortcut is incredibly, incredibly important.
I really appreciate it.
So, this is how that NISC is supposed to go. You can actually take it even tighter to get around this. Oh, the other way, like this. Like this. You can take that even tighter if you're a little bit better, but you don't trick, you just drift over that boost or that like mushroom bounce pad, and that lets you turn a little bit faster.
This is where I do
But the thing that I want to point out is really, really cool actually. So there is a little nubbin right here. There's a little nub, and we're gonna hit this little nub intentionally. This is the actual intended, well, not intended strat. This is the actual strat that we use to go fast in this, is to intentionally hit this thing, because when we hit this thing, it turns our cart more because we're in the air, right? We get to go in the air and turn more while we're headed in relatively a straight line. It means that instead of facing like this, we're facing more like this. And that basically sets up this skip to be angled a little bit more inwards, which pushes our boost down the road better. I hope that I explained that pretty well. You're going to see it in action right now. We hit that nub, which, okay, I can hit that nub a little bit better, but I still managed to get just a little bit of airtime, which turned myself a little bit more, which helps that boost be a little bit straighter forward towards the finish line. Everyone loves a little nub.
That's so astonishing that's the strat. I love that.
Yeah, I think I do it a little bit better in lap 3. So there's the nub. Yeah, I get a little bit of airtime, and that just turns my cart a little bit better, which pushes the boost farther down. It's super cool.
That's so cool.
Almost 2 seconds to my best.
Just wait, because the next track has an even wilder strat, and it's a strat that I named. It's a strat that I named a couple months after it was like in runs. Like it just didn't have a name. It was just, oh, it's the Ninja Hideaway cutout NISC, or it's the early NISC. So I am about to show you Faceplant. That is the actual name of this strat. The actual name of this strat is Faceplant. So this line right here is the visual cue. I am going to start a drift there, do a lot of like turning in and pulling back and turning in to line myself up, and then I will explain how this works when we get a little bit farther forward.
A good faceplant.
Okay, so I need to breathe for a second. I am going to be charging a super mini turbo, so the orange mini turbo, right? And I am going to release it directly into this wall. However, I've built up a ton of momentum in this direction from the drift and just from driving, right? So what ends up happening is hitting the wall slows me down enough that I'm able to use the sideways momentum to destroy this piranha plant cutout without spinning out. And that is, but I'm still going to get that super mini turbo. So I'm going to have a boost, right? And that boost is going to carry me through the hallway. And actually, this is a really unique one where I actually destroy both of them. And you're not supposed to be able to, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just destroy one and keep going. So it's a little slower than it could have been, but it ends up looking really cool. So yes, this is faceplant. I am going to smush myself into the wall, and that's going to slow me down enough that the sideways momentum will break the thing, and the boost that I get before hitting myself into the wall will continue on to push me down the hallway. So watch this. Blink and you'll miss it.
Hey, that's
that. It was a little scuffed. It was a little scuffed. There are better examples in other runs that I've done.
not a good faceplant.
But yeah, I ended up hitting both of the piranha plant cutouts, and I was somehow going slow enough to make it work. But yeah. Oh, and then here's the other one. So I'm gonna just do this instead of going around normally. What ends up happening is you charge a super mini turbo, then you do a counter hop to change your alignment to be facing in a better direction, and then you just do a trick off of this, and it works. And you go like this. And then lap 1, that was a little slower. The angle could have been a little better. If I remember right, lap 2 is even better. So unfortunately, we don't do faceplant in laps 2 or 3 because these platforms here raise and lower on a consistent timer, and they are available to take in laps 2 and 3, and they are a little bit faster, but they're not available in lap 1, so we do faceplant. And hey, look, it's those cutouts.
Cool.
Is this feasible on 150? I don't know. I don't run 150.
Certainly.
But yeah, I'll explain this Ninja Hideaway Nisk. Fun fact about this shortcut. So we're gonna charge a super mini turbo, then we're gonna do a counter hop, then we're gonna do a trick. Just release the super mini turbo, hop in this direction, trick in that direction, right? This one to the side is only for alignment. It would go like this, and instead it goes like this because of the counter hop. And there we go. In lap 2, that was a little bit better than lap 1 was. How do you find something like that? So that super big Nisk at the end of the lap was actually found before Ninja Hideaway or Wave 1 was available in the US to play on your own. Because Wave 2 was released across the entire world at the same time, but Wave 1, Japan and I think Australia, just Oceania, got it a little bit earlier than the rest of the world did. But if somebody picked it in an online game that you were in, you could play the track early, essentially. And somebody found that skip while playing online before it was available in the States. So that's pretty incredible. Not a whole lot else to talk about with the track. I guess if you've seen me do these like hops onto the ramp before I trick, that actually does save a little bit of time. I don't know why, it just does.
That's a PB, actually. According to this. I feel like I might have beat that at some point.
So that's Wave 1, and that was actually, so I didn't mention it, that was a double PB. So the way that we time runs is you can time however many runs you can time from the first split. So this is a Wave 1 and 2 run, which means that it can also count as a Wave 1 run. It can't count as a Wave 2 run because it starts with a different premise. You start in last place on your first track, and you start with 5 coins on your first track. So you can only do it for the first one, right? And then it also counts as a Golden Dash Cup run. It wasn't a Golden Dash Cup PB. It could have been a triple PB, I know, but double is still pretty cool. This was a PB for Wave 1 by 0.3 seconds, so I didn't actually submit it to speedrun.com. But it was an 8-second PB for the main run. So this Wave 2 has a lot more mistakes, but it also has me correcting a lot of mistakes as well. I don't think New York Minute goes terribly well. This track is really precise. As you can see, there's a lot of sharp right turns to get around things. That is really frustrating, but yeah. And I think I get a little unlucky with some coins and stuff here. Yeah, I get bonked out of not being able to get those coins because of Peach. And yeah, you can have 7 coins getting out of lap 1. And I end up only getting a 3 because I had a pretty awkward line. And then I end up missing 2 of those. So this is just a slower New York Minute. This is one of the tracks that I can save a lot of time on.
So many coins.
And in-game time-wise, New York Minute is just a bit under a minute with mushrooms. Without mushrooms, I think it is still doable in under a minute. My PB is like a 1:03 though. Anyways, this is another track that has a couple of different paths. It's almost over already. There's not too much to talk about. Yeah, we're just gonna skip forward past this track because there's really not too much to talk about. If anybody has any questions in chat, I am reading chat throughout all of this, so feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer best I can.
Still decent. This is.
Anyways, moving on, we have Mario Circuit 3 from the Super Nintendo. This is probably the most satisfying track to grind out of all of the DLC waves. Maybe Sydney Sprint, which is coming up shortly. This track is really simple. There is not too much to point out other than I'm just going to be doing lines really, really well. There is one no item shortcut, which happens right here.
Can I make this? Yes.
Getting a super mini turbo there. And then here's probably here's the best counter hop to explain how things work, right? So I am going this way on the track, right? This counter hop makes me face this way. And then I'm going to start to do the drift that takes me in this direction, right? Because I'm facing farther out from the drift, I'm able to charge the mini turbo faster, because if I started the drift when I was facing that way without the counter hop, I would have to charge that full meter in less of a turn. So it would be much less possible, or my exit angle would be farther to the left, and we don't want that. So because of this counter hop to the right, I'm able to charge the drift at a better angle that lets the next drift be pretty smooth. So you'll see this counter hop that I do chain into a drift, which chains into another drift, and they're all really smooth. Whereas if I hadn't done that counter hop, it would have been a lot less smooth. Can I please explain character kart selection? So mini turbo, the drifting stat, is the most important thing, but we still want to have a good top speed, so we pick a heavier character. This ends up having the best stat spread. We have Bitty Buggy, Roller Tires, Cloud Glider for mini turbo, and then Roy or Donkey Kong or Waluigi, but Roy is the best. Not any numbers wise, just Roy's our boy. Roy has a really high weight and a really high top speed while still providing a little bit more mini turbo as opposed to like Wario. Yep, and there's that counter hop all 3 laps, which leads to really, really smooth drifts around here.
That was pretty close to a gold. That was very good. Wow. Okay, cool.
Okay, so next up is Calamari Desert. I'm sorry, N64 fans, but this is my least favorite track of the 16 because of the proportions of it. And I'm going to pause immediately to just look at the map. The track looks a little funny, and that's because this is actually like it's the Mario Kart Tour version of the track, which has like a reference to how you travel through the railroad section as like an Easter egg that they made it part of the track. I didn't call Roy fat. He just has a high weight stat that's just in the game. But hey, so you see this right here? this curve. No kart can make this drift properly. It is just the most frustrating. It's the most frustrating section of track in the entire game, and it is always a struggle to get around this. But there's also a train. This train goes around this section right here, and it's consistent. It's consistently in the same spot at the same time, but it's in a really bad spot for 200cc, and you end up hitting the train a lot.
But
and if you can hear me, I think I say it pretty early here.
best way to not get hit by the train is to play everything leading up to the train really well, so that I have
The important thing is
more time to
going as fast as possible to have as much time to prepare for the train, right? So here's this terrible turn. I do like a mini turbo and wait, and then I'm holding back the entire time to get around this curve because it's just terrible. I don't have great coins here, but that's okay.
that was a bit sloppy.
So right there, I paused like a couple frames too late, but I am charging a super mini turbo and releasing it, and then charging another mini turbo really quickly, and then releasing that as I'm tricking off of that ramp. And that's called an MT trick, or a mini turbo trick. And that's just a little bit faster than doing a trick normally, while also adding the boost. It makes them, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, basically. And I do that in lap 1 as well.
Not bad, though.
Anyways, that ramp, that glider thing is slow. So, fun fact, if there was somebody just waiting in lap 1, that ramp wouldn't be visible for them. You'd just see Roy fly up in the air, which is pretty funny. The train is on a specific timer, so you can already see it right there, about to ruin my day. But it actually doesn't ruin my day, because I landed with this much time to prepare, right? Sometimes the train is like here when you land. Sometimes the train is here when you land, and it's miserable. But this gave me enough time to prepare and not get hit by the train, even though it clipped into the camera. And then you go into this tunnel for lap 3. I do lose my drift there, which is another place where I can save a lot of time. If I had managed to keep that drift, it would have been faster. But yeah. And then we're back on this really annoying part for lap 3. My favorite tracks in the game, somebody asked that earlier. My favorite track in the DLC is Sydney Sprint, which is coming up after Waluigi Pinball here. And my favorite track overall is Wildwoods.
Making that mini turbo. Damn, that was still really good, though.
Now we have Waluigi Pinball. This track is the longest track in the game. Even though it's in the shortest category in the game, this set of 16 is the fastest category in the game.
Lights warning for this too. Sometimes I forget to call it out, but yeah.
This track, okay, so I forgot to mention, flashing lights warning. This tunnel sucks. I should have said that earlier. I am so sorry, but just like eye strain warning for this track. There are marbles on this track, and those marbles are on a consistent timer, but they are very, very difficult to not get hit by, and I'm able to weave in between some of them in a pretty impressive way, which is my least favorite, Calamari Desert, which I just described.
Fast enough where I can weave around.
So I was able to avoid that pinball because the pinballs are on a consistent timer, and I was able to just know that it was going to be there because I've practiced this track enough. It wasn't fast enough that I could get ahead of it, but it was fast enough that I could get behind it as it's going in, and ahead of it before it gets flipped back out into the area.
That's really good.
This track is really, really difficult. I am not very good at it. I played it very, very well in this PB. I don't really have a ton to talk about with it, because it really is just... I'm trying to take these drifts as quickly as possible. I'm getting really close to the marbles and the bouncers without actually hitting them. And it all is just kind of working out. Oh, there's one thing. I get a UMT there around that section in lap 2, and it's a little slower than doing a super mini turbo and a mini turbo afterwards, because doing those two drifts separately let you go around those corners a little bit more tightly, whereas if you charge a UMT, you have to go a little bit wider, and it ends up being a little slower. But that's like not the important part. The important part is not getting hit by these marbles, and holy hell, these marbles are annoying.
Hit that railing is beyond me.
I usually get hit by that one as it's coming forward, but I was fast enough to get ahead of it, and I was very happy about that. I have said this is a very good pinball. Actually, this is a very gold pinball.
Holy shit, okay.
And there's the gold split. So I didn't mention how the auto splitter works. I guess I'll mention that as we get into Sydney Sprint here. This is a load remover done, made by Vike, who is a member of our community. And it is a visual based. Is it optimal to nosedive in the cannon glider? I don't think so. We hop into the glider, which is a little faster, but I think what you're doing in the glider is kind of dependent on the track. So this checkered flag appears on screen in the heads up, in like the UI at the same time every time, and it disappears at the same time every time as well. So the game feed is reading this spot for the checkered flag, and if it sees it, it waits a specific amount of time, and then it starts the timer at the same time when Lakitu says go. Works every single time. When it disappears, it does a little bit of math and then subtracts the appropriate amount of time to get the in-game time. Because as you can see, there is no in-game time displayed anywhere. We just don't get it. It's just not there. I don't know why, but yeah, I would love in-game time baked in, but we had to do it ourselves.
Turn in during
Is a marble bonk a restart? I mean, it can be, but it's so late into the run. I mean, you usually take the 4 or 5 second time loss, even though that's a lot of time. Anyways, Sydney Sprint has a different path all 3 laps. This is another instance of a really good line with a counter hop. We are hopping in this direction so that we can take this turn even more smoothly because we need to chain it with another turn that goes in the opposite direction afterwards. So this is all about not necessarily maximizing how much of a boost you can get, but just how quickly you can chain them together. This track has a lot of almost snaking, going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. So you'll be seeing a lot of that in lap 2. Excuse me. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water and we can just watch the drifting, almost snaking section. It's really cool. It's a really cool track. This is really satisfying to run. Okay, so here's a pretty cool thing. I got a trick there. I'm going to not trick on this one so that I land slightly earlier. And that's going to let me start a drift on the next ramp and drift over that ramp. Charge a mini turbo on what is basically a straight line, release that mini turbo, and then immediately get 2 more tricks. And that ends up being a little bit faster. So I'm actually, can I go back? Can I go back 4 seconds? Oh, that's too far. Oops. Oh, here we go. My bad. Sorry to scroll around, but I'm going to trick, no trick, mini turbo, trick. So trick, no trick, start the drift, mini turbo, trick, and trick.
Perfect.
It's so fast, but it goes by so fast, and it also is so fast. And then I do this Tony Hawk. And then I do this Tony Hawk thing where I drift over this rail.
Drift before the finish line.
So that's fun.
I always forget to do that.
And then the next thing, in lap 3, there is a lap 3 strat that starts before we cross the finish line of lap 2. Because as you can see from this section right here, this is a very large turn. This is a very, very sharp turn as well. And so we're going to be charging a UMT here. That's the 3rd tier, Ultra Mini Turbo. And immediately turn that into a mini turbo and then an SMT, which is the 2nd tier. So watch out for that.
Sweet.
Gonna be getting this really big drift, which chains into this next one, which chains into this one, which ends up releasing right on time to do this. We're not doing the double strat because we actually have to take a different path in lap 3. And I did miss a trick there, so there's another point where I can save time. But a lot of this is just in service of making the lines as smooth as possible. So like we just came out on a corner, we're going to try to get from point A to point B in as close to a straight line as possible. And that ends up looking like this. And then we have to get to the finish line, so we take that little corner cut as well.
I lost some time from...
A lot of stuff goes into all of these tracks in case you can't tell.
From missing.
There's a lot going on. Okay.
And I guess my...
Oh, 3 tracks to go. Snowland. This track is made of ice. It is actually a low traction track. You are slip sliding around, and this track starts off immediately with a drift, and then immediately into another drift to get that coin, and then immediately into a third drift, which I missed a coin, but it's fine because the coins respawn because it's versus race and not time trials. If this was a time trial, I would have reset already. This track starts immediately and it doesn't let up. You have to get this mini turbo before this trick, because if you don't, you lose so much time, and I actually miss it in lap 2, I think. Maybe it was lap 3, I don't remember. I've missed a handful of coins, but coins respawn, so it's okay. But if I was in time trials, I would have reset like 4 times over on this track, but it's still pretty good and it looks really good. This penguin sucks, but I managed to avoid him. Yeah, no, I get it in lap 2. Lap 3 is the one that I miss it. You can actually drift over that snow, and I think I do in lap 3. It's a little tight, but you can make that happen pretty consistently. I'm gonna just skip past this, past any pausing and stuff. Just know that all of these drifts are really wide because it's on ice. The traction is literally worse. You get this UMT and then have to start this drift and charge a mini turbo on basically a straight line. And then you don't get it, and tricking there, it ends up being quite a bit slower. But anyways, that track's over. We don't have to think about it anymore. Now we get to move on to the last 2 tracks, one of which is a fan favorite, Mushroom Gorge from the Wii, or as my splits say, Mushroom George, because that's what we call it in my community. This is George. George is very mean. George is a very, very mean track. So, I'm just going to pause right off the bat. There are a number of different strats that you can do on this track. I am not great at this track, but I ended up playing okay. I'm actually, if the audio is loud enough, I will be in pretty much disbelief as to how fast this ended up being because of the mistakes that I made. I expected to lose like 2 seconds, and it ended up being like less than a second off of my best time. I've actually ended up golding this track by quite a bit since then. My splits right now say that my sum of best is a 2056. I've lowered that to a 2053 by now, and I'm pretty sure I can get it into the 2040s without too much trouble. So, like I said, this run was a week ago. So, to talk about the strats really quick, going through this shortcut is slower. Going through this one is faster. This section is really tough, but we end up taking this lower path here. And this track has some stuff called super bounces that I will explain when I get a little closer to one of them. I'm going to talk really quickly, though, about a strat that I don't do because I'm playing with Roy. So the Propeller Cup, this is track 3 of Propeller Cup. The Propeller Cup run uses a lighter character that has more mini turbo because there's a lot of drifts in these previous tracks, Snowland in particular, City Sprint as well. I mean, all of these tracks are very drift heavy. If you're playing with a lighter character, you can do a series of tricks that land you on this railing, and you can grind on this railing, which ends up being even faster. The trick has the name of the trick was carried over from when this track was in Mario Kart 7. It's called Pasta. I don't like that it's called Pasta. I think that it's a little silly. I know that I named a strat Faceplant, but like that one still describes what you're doing. You're planting yourself into the wall, destroying a plant cutout. It works. I don't know why this strat is called Pasta. I don't like that it's called Pasta, but it's called Pasta. Either way, I'm not doing it because I'm playing a heavier character, because the heavier character is faster overall for these 16 tracks. So instead, I'm going to be bouncing off of this while charging a drift so that I can release the drift immediately with a super mini turbo. Even though, I said this a couple times, I'm basically driving in a straight line. I'm charging the drift in midair. Then I'm going to chain that into another mini turbo, and then I'm going to do a super bounce. So let's see that. So I drift over this, get a super mini turbo, or actually just a mini turbo, my bad. So I start the drift here, right? I drift over this section. I'm going to charge a mini turbo in midair, right? Release the mini turbo, and then immediately bounce. Right? And that is a super bounce, because it takes the boost from mini turbo and the boost from a bounce, and it adds them together, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So I don't know for certain if it's faster or not to nick the edge of this green one. The red ones are bouncy, the green ones are not. You can nick the edge of this green one and get a trick off of it. I don't know if it's actually faster or not. I think that it's a little faster to not hit it if you get a very good line, but if you don't get a very good line, you can trick off of it. And I actually don't remember if I do or not. I do. Okay, yeah. And then we're going to do another super bounce. We are going to drift off of this one in this direction, and then we're going to bounce off of this and land on the green one. So this is more or less what you're supposed to do. I missed a trick there, and then I end up, I'll pause it in laps 2 or 3. This is a little scuffed. I should mention these strats are not exactly what you're supposed to do as far as going as fast as possible, but they are slightly more consistent. So there's another super bounce on that section. That one's pretty easy. But here we go. Super mini turbo, hop, and whatever. I get that super bounce. I'm gonna land here-ish. What you want to do to get it fairly consistently is you land there, you do a trick, then you trick off of the edge of this green one, and then when you bounce off of this red one, you actually start a drift. And then you do another super bounce on this last mushroom. I don't remember if I actually get it like that, but let's see. Okay, I actually skipped one, so yeah, trick. I had to quickly change plans there.
Extra super bounce, but that's fine.
But yeah. And then I miss a drift there, unfortunately, from hitting the off-road. But here's another one of those straight line into mini turbo into another super bounce there.
If I had to guess.
I think lap 3 it goes a little better. Yeah, super bounce. I missed the trick, but other than that, I mean, I'm drifting on a bounce pad, getting another super bounce there at the very end, and there we go. I thought it would be worse than it ended up being. It ended up being pretty consistent. I made a couple of mistakes, and like I said, I've golded this track since then, so not all of the time save was visible there compared to the splits. Lastly, we have Sky High Sunday, and this track has 2 big things to point out. I guess sort of 3. So obviously you can see that the track is basically just a loop. There's not a ton to talk about with that. However, there is a shortcut that I want to point out, which goes from about here to about here, and it looks absolutely wild. And the only reason it's possible is because I already have anti-grav. I haven't talked about anti-grav at all, but that's like the gimmick of Mario Kart 8, is that you can bump into things when you're in anti-grav to get a little speed boost, but it has to be specific things. F-Zero tracks from the DLC from the Wii U version, which are just in Mario Kart 8, in Mute City and Big Blue, in Egg Cup and Bell Cup. Those 2, you start with you start with anti-grav on, and you never lose anti-grav. So they have this really cool thing where you get your boost from the anti-grav right away, but then you don't get your boost from any tricks until you land. And that's going to be really important almost immediately. So I'm going to pause when it gets to that point, and we'll explain it a little bit better. So I get this trick here. That trick happens right away. And I don't actually know why that trick happens right away and the other ones don't, but it does. I think it's because I have a glider out. Not entirely sure. Regardless, this railing is one of the things that you can get an anti-grav boost off of. So I start to spin because I hit the railing. The railing is you can just drive right through the railing. I'm going to trick off of the edge of the stairs here, right? So the game knows that I did an anti-grav thing and that I did a trick, and it needs to give me the boost for both of those things. So what it ends up doing is it gives me the boost for the anti-grav while I'm in the tricking animation, and then it gives me the boost from the trick once I land. So that is 2 boosts. It is anti-grav, trick, boost from the anti-grav, boost from the trick. Just all within like a second, and that happens all 3 laps. But also, this is a track with anti-grav, which means that it has like low gravity. So I am constantly holding, actually I'm holding up. I'm holding up, which pushes me down because that's how this works. You know, I'm constantly trying to land as quickly as possible so that I can get these tricks. So then here's the other one. It's anti-grav. So there's lower gravity, so you can do that trick.
That's definitely
which is just silly. I'm gonna do that all 3 laps, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, so here's the thing again. I'm going to spin, trick, boost from spin, boost from trick. And the boost from the anti-grav spin happens while I'm in the tricking animation. So it's all sorts of chaos. But this track is very complicated. Anyways, I start that drift ahead of time so that I can charge a super mini turbo. You can see I have a super mini turbo, right? And then I'm just going to hop and glide my way down. I discovered this like on the second time I played the track, day 1 when it released.
Okay.
And I'm pretty happy about that. People weren't sure if it was going to be faster and ended up being a little bit faster. And yeah, that's this category. I've been running this.
Gaming is happening.
I've been running this category for a while now. Couple of months, I would say. Obviously, the DLC is pretty new, but this has been my major focus, and that's time. It takes a little bit for the flag to disappear, and then it does the calculation. 21:09 in-game time, and a 27:15 RTA. So yeah, this is, like I said, it's a little over 30 seconds off of the record. It is a PB by 8 seconds real time, 7 seconds in-game time. And my goal time right now is a 20xx in-game time and also a 26xx RTA as well. I hope you all enjoyed the explanations of things, and if you have any questions before I head out, feel free to ask them in chat. Yeah, it was really complicated. I talked a lot. I hope that it was well explained. I hope you all enjoyed hearing me ramble about Mario Kart theory and lines and how things work. I have like 4,000 or 5,000 hours in this game. I'm not kidding.
And I went ahead and gave you a shout out in chat. Please follow Amber. She definitely deserves it. And if you were watching this at all, absolutely kills it at Mario Kart. We'll be grinding this category more, I know. So definitely go check her out.
Yes, I will be doing the same for the other DLC tracks, Curry. Yes. I am running this game. I'll be live on my channel in like 12 hours. I stream sometimes in the mid-afternoon US time, but I've been starting to stream in the late morning, like over till about like 2 p.m. Central Time, and that's been the normal stream time. So if you need something to put on in the background while you're working or whatever, I'll be playing Mario Kart most days in the morning. Thank you all for the GGs and the kind words. I really appreciate it. Trans rights, obviously, and ACAB, and etc. If Twitter isn't still around in a couple weeks, follow me on Cohost as well, cohost.org/AmberCXC without an underscore, but on Twitter and on Twitch with the underscore, Amber_CXC. On YouTube, it is without the underscore as well, AmberCXC. The CXC doesn't stand for anything, by the way. It's just a thing.
I was wondering that for the longest time, so I'm glad you cleared that up.
Yeah.
Well, Amber,
if you want it to be a Charlie XCX reference, it can be.
All right, that's my new headcanon. Thank you so much, though, Amber, for joining us and just absolutely slaying it with the explanations. Again, chat, please go follow Amber. She deserves it. We're going to take a quick little break here, but make sure to stay tuned because afterwards we're going to have Kelpsy on showcasing her score PB for Starbucks. Oh my gosh.
Coffee
Star Fox
64.
64. She did not score a PB in Starbucks, but stay
How would that
tuned.
work? 12 shots of espresso this time. New PB. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. And I'll just let me just repeat everything I just said because I forgot to set my mic in OBS. That was fun. Hi, everybody. My name's Kelsey, or Kelpsy on Twitch. I'm super excited to be joining Nuclear here tonight on Games Done Quick. Good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. I am a speedrunner, but I am also a score runner. In this case, today I'm going to be showing off my current PB and most recent PB of Star Fox 64. Yeah, we'll get started soon here, but basically let me just kind of talk about score running a little bit. So if you're familiar with this absolute gem of a Nintendo 64 game from 1997, you do know that people obviously do speedrun this game, and there is actually a speedrunning and score running combo category. But in this case, I'm just trying to get the highest score possible for myself. There's a lot of rules that we follow, and I can kind of talk about that a little bit just for a second before I jump into the game feed here. But a few things: I'm allowed to use as many lives as I want as long as I don't get a game over. There's no time limit, so I've actually had like a score run at like go on for like 4.5 hours before. So at that point it becomes like an endurance test. But yeah, I mean, basically it's just kind of hey, do the best you can. If you're happy with it and you've got the lives for it, keep going. So yeah, so we're going to start here. This is the easy route for score running if you're looking to get into it. This is the route that you would see. And on the bottom, I'm just going to talk about my game feed a little bit. That you see to the right there. There's a score tracker below the below the game feed that is going to actually be tracking the score, so you have an idea. The top 2204 was my previous PB. SOB is sum of best, so that is my best possible score if I were to get every single gold the same, just kind of like you would see in speedrunning. And then after that is the names of each level, followed by the score that I have gotten previously in my old PB. So we're going to be seeing Corneria today, Medio, Katina, Sector X, Macbeth, Area 6, and of course Venom. So without further ado, let's start. You're getting good, Fox. Fox. I'm really silly in this PB, by the way. I say a lot of really dumb stuff all the time, so just ignore me. So one thing that we see right here is this is called a charged unlock shot. You're going to be seeing that this entire run. This is a key to score running, is using this charged unlock shot. So by holding Z and R, so both trigger buttons for if you were to hold a Nintendo 64 controller, it prevents the R-wing from locking onto an enemy. There are going to be times where we want to lock on for ease, to make things easier, but for the most part, everything is going to be manually aiming, and we're going to be using those charge unlock shots to basically hit things indirectly and get extra points. So as you can tell, I've only seen pretty much 3 enemies so far, but we've already have 70 points here. I missed that one. Here I'm going to be braking, and then doing another charge and lock shot to get +5, so that's another 10 points right there. So let's talk about this right here. Okay, so I just took out Slippy, and it was for a good reason. So there are certain points in the game where we want to have certain team members in and certain team members out. In this case, it's not because I hate Slippy. It's because I don't need Slippy in Medio, which is the next level. So a funny thing happens in Medio where if Slippy is alive, right before the checkpoint in that level, he will be chased by 4 enemies. If he's not alive, then You show up to checkpoint and 11 enemies are there instead. So actually, best practice is to almost kill Slippy, but not quite. Have him be chased in medio, shoot him down in medio, so you get those 4 enemies, and then you also get the 11 after checkpoint, which we'll see in a little bit. So I took down Slippy for just to make it easy on myself. I also missed a charge unlock shot on the bogey that was chasing him. That one's a little tricky. I can kind of go back here a little bit and show you how I missed. All right, I went back too far. So normally I would hit the... Actually, I think I just like gave up and went for it. So here's a really good example of charge and lock shots right here. I'm just shooting the ground, and all of these guys are going down, and I'm getting an extra point for it. So we're going to be going into Corneria with 31 points, which is pretty great. Doing more charge and lock shots to get these mid-air enemies. It's all about timing.
Everybody stay alert.
And this is kind of a blind shot up, but there's 4 enemies that appear there, 4 there, one another charge and lock shot here. And then there's these mechs. Well, I did lock onto that guy, onto those like group real quick, just because it's a little easier. You probably, it's definitely doable to do a charge and lock shot on those 3. But this mech right here, I'm going to be trying to aim. What I'm trying to do is aim right here on the bottom of his feet. So for whatever reason, you can actually farm points if you indirectly shoot the bottom of the mechs. The mechs give you 6 points, which is very important, and you'll see how I miss one later and say some very strong words because that was free points that I gave up. Whoops. But for the most part, yeah, we want to be shooting this bottom area right here next to him to get those +1s, and then also taking him down so that we get the 6 points. Gonna clear all that off. So there's that 1, there's the 5, there's a 1, and I gotta shoot those. So this area right here is a little bit of a cluster. So we have, because I went under this bridge that we just saw in Corneria, these guys spawn, which is cool. These guys spawn no matter what. This group of 4. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't draw with a mouse very well. And then there's a mech guy right here behind. So what I'm going to try to do is use a charge unlock shot to take out all of these guys without locking onto them. The best way to do this for me personally is to just spam right here on the building because that area from the shot is going to definitely going to kill the mech, but hopefully it'll take out these guys as well, and then we're probably going to have to do a mid-air shot to get the group of 4.
Use the brake.
So yeah, perfect, just like that. I actually missed 1 point there. Charge unlock shot here. This guy, he's actually deceivingly not very close to this wall. So a common mistake is to like use a shot on this wall, which you can normally shoot open. But he's actually kind of sitting a little further over here. So you have to shoot early to get him. So then we have 2 mechs here. Mech there, group here, and then mech to the right. And as you see, I just missed it.
Bro, that could have been a 127. Fuck.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
So yeah, I definitely missed the guy on the right, and that would have been +6 points here, which would have made my my checkpoint at 129, which is I think a gold for me. So I missed that gold, which was kind of heartbreaking. But still, this is a really hot pace for me. For a long time, I was like getting 117, 118 here. So I'm rolling with it. A big thing about score running is like kind of knowing when to cut your losses and when to take it. We'll see that towards the end of the run because I spend a lot of time in Area 6, which is second to last level. And it's also very mash heavy. And at that point, it literally becomes like a physical test of like, how long can I do this for before my hand falls off kind of thing. So yeah, I think at this point, I'm just like, yeah, we're rolling. Like, let's go.
Sad.
Take this one. Get the one behind me.
Going under that arch got me more enemies there. We lock onto that for ease. The one tricky thing about that is that if you lock on to enemies, you have to wait for that shot to actually hit, or you can shoot another charge and lock shot, which is the beauty of charge and lock shots, is that you can spam them. So we're going to shoot one right here and get all 4 of these in one go. 2 more mechs here. Just spam right at their feet. Doing my best too. I think I actually missed that mech too. That's hard. I didn't even realize that. 190 is good here. So these little water skaters, we're just going to shoot the arches. We get a bomb. Bomb management is important. We want as many bombs as possible for Medio, since we'll be going through the warp, and the warp has a ton of things to shoot, tons of points available. For Corneria, we will be taking the hard route. So it was important. So as much as we killed Slippy, and that was important for Medio, it's important that we kill Falco. Because, not we kill Falco, I'm sorry. It's important that we keep Falco alive, with that we actually get those enemies that chased him right after checkpoint. Because we're going to see, if by hugging left on this side, so normally straight forward here would take you to the easy boss, the little like dinosaur looking mech guy. But there's a bunch of like bird enemies that spawn here. So by hugging to the left, we're actually going to get the bird enemies to spawn, and then we're going to go to the right through the waterfall, and those birds will be there. So we're just kind of tricking the game a little bit, because it's Nintendo 64. Cool. So here come the birds.
Where you going?
Of course, ideally getting charge and lock shots on these guys, but not a big deal if we don't. Got a bomb there. And then this arena is such a mess. I mean, this area is such a mess. I just can't just throw a bomb, you know? There's some enemies down here that will, you can also get some more +1s off of. Break a little bit here to get these guys to group together. And yeah, so that was, every time we are right before a boss, we take a moment to just kind of be like, okay, what's my score looking at here? Do I need to restart? Every boss gives you a set amount of points, and every boss, I believe, let me think about this. Yeah, every boss is time related as well. So if you don't kill the boss quickly enough, you won't get the max amount of points. So if you take your sweet time, you just won't get as many points. So for Corneria, this guy, we're gonna get 11 points, and I'm just gonna take him down real quick.
Someone wants to play. Incoming enemy from the rear. Drop altitude.
Okay. Not my bad. I feel like I can do better though.
Sorry if I'm looking to my right. The chat is over to my right, so I'm just like, what? Looking at chat. Gonna kill this guy.
Deploy all units. Charge! I've got a present for you. Aim for the open spot.
And something I didn't mention here, where I happened to crop this video,
We're Starfall.
is that I have 0 lives. When you start the game, you have 2 lives, but I just restarted twice because I had messed up in Corneria. So I was starting this run with 0 lives, which kind of really puts me at a teeny tiny disadvantage for later on in the run. But I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. Every 50 points, you get another life. So we're getting 4 lives here, I think. I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit. There's always nice fanfare between the levels. No, only 2 levels. Sorry, it's 1 life every 100 points. I'm sorry.
Pretty good.
But yeah, the fanfare gives me a break. And also it's just, gives me a second to think about, okay, what's my game plan for the next level. So looking at the score tracker here, this 246 was a gold. I think that might have been a fake gold. Now that I think about it, I think 248 is my real gold. I think I just accidentally deleted that one from the score tracker, which is whatever. It's not a big deal. But yeah, 246 was definitely one of my best scores there. So like I said, the next level is going to be Medio. So we just changed course from Sector Y to Medio. Medio is the easy route. If we were to kill that T-Rex mech, we would have gone to Medio anyway, but because we went the hard route, was saving Falco and going underneath all of those arches over the lake, we have the option of going to Sector Y, which was actually what you would do in the expert score running route. But we're just going to go to Medio instead because it's a lot easier. Yeah. All right. Medio, be good to me.
Impressive stuff. Good luck.
Be good to me. Thanks. So, Medio is all about asteroids. So, something I realized that I didn't do here is you're supposed to log on to this guy, which is what I did, but I'm supposed to do a backflip to give myself more time to shoot all of these rocks and also just give myself more time to do everything. I think what happened was for a lot of this run was really rusty for me, as we saw in Corneria a little bit. Before I was doing score running again this month, I had taken a very long break from score running, about 4 months or so. Yeah, longer than that, I think. And I had been doing the speedrun, score run combo category, which obviously you're boosting, going as quickly as possible, but also trying to shoot things as much as possible. So I think I forgot a few of the strategies from back then, which is great because now I'm thinking about it and now I can improve for the next PC. So funny thing about these rocks over here, and I think actually all of these, so you can kind of see them, they're very, very faint on this capture. Sorry about that. These rocks, they will break into half when I shoot, not break into half, but they will break apart when I shoot them. However, the smaller rocks that come from breaking apart will not give me extra points. Later on, in a few seconds, when we see more of those asteroids, those will give me extra points. So yeah, there's no point in shooting all of these down. I'm just gonna shoot them once and move on. And then I'm gonna be throwing some bombs. It's important that I throw bombs in every direction here. There's lots of asteroids off screen. I'm looking for at least anywhere between 35 and 40 here. I actually fall a little short when I'm leaving this area. I'm at right at 34.
Well, 34 is okay.
But the reason why I didn't restart, and like I said at the beginning of me explaining everything, I'm allowed to take as many lives as I want, as long as I don't get a game over. So really, I have 2 chances here to do Medio. If I had gotten a 28 there, I would have been like, screw it, I'm starting over. It's worth it. The reason why you don't want to do that is because I have hyper lasers right now. Anytime you die or you start over the level, you restart the level, you lose your lasers. And it's really important to maintain hypers if you can. In one case, when we go to Sector X in a few levels, we're going to have strats to get hypers back very quickly. So it's not a big deal then. But ideally, yeah, you want hypers as much as possible. Hypers are going to be 2 upgrades from the single laser, which is lovingly called the pea shooter. So charge and lock shots on these big asteroids. We're trying to get +1s on the enemies hiding behind. Some of these enemies in Medio specifically, if you kill every single one of them, they will yield a bomb. So later, we're going to be doing hey, I'm going to throw a bomb to get a bomb. In this case, I wanted to try to kill everything without using a bomb, so I net gain 1 bomb. And I think I do so successfully. Yep. This is this rock right here is called the Tooth Rock. There's 2 of these in Medio. For some reason, this guy has a hitbox that gives points. So I'm going to be shooting on the teeth. It kind of looks like a molder. That's why it's the Tooth Rock. There's 2 of them. So you'll see one later on. But yeah, I'm going to shoot that a bit to get some extra points. Charge and lock shots, of course. So we get 1. Not so great, but 1's better than nothing. I missed that guy.
Oh my
Get really mad about that. And then I just need to take down these guys. You can also charge and lock shot on these enemies to get extra points. So leaving the first area with 57 points isn't bad. Not great for, not really where I want to be, but it's not bad. This is just a boosting part. Nothing happens here. Normally Slippy would be like, whoa, can you make it? And he's not here, so we just get to hear.
one right now.
Peppy talking about braking and boosting.
Use the boost to get
Free bomb here. We're going to try to charge unlock shot these guys. We're aiming for right here. Trying to get this shot to hit basically their butt is where the hitbox is. If you notice, like these, if you're familiar with Star Fox 64, you guys know, you know that these guys, they have to flip towards you for you to take them down. So yeah, we're trying to hit like basically the back of them. But this is also a group of enemies that will yield a bomb if you use a bomb to kill them. Or if you kill them all, they will yield a bomb. So yeah, I got a +1 there.
sending supplies.
Really cool strat you can do here with that supply box that Rob had. If you slow down enough, or actually if you zoom up, if you zoom or boost enough, that's the word I need to say. Sorry, it's past my bedtime. If you boost enough, you could actually do a charge unlock shot on the box and kill these guys right here. It's very cool. It's super swag. I've never done it successfully. It's on my to-do list, but I definitely recommend checking it out from a higher skilled runner if you ever have the opportunity to. I just do a backflip and then I miss anyway, which is really good. And I missed the bomb, which was like
Dude, that bomb, dude.
abysmal, but it's cool. Once again, improvements for the next PB.
It just
Peppy gets chased here. So the important thing is that Peppy is about to get chased in about 5 seconds. He comes from right here on this right side of the screen, and he gets chased by 3 enemies. You can charge unlock shot and get all 4 at once. If you are hanging on the right side, he will literally ram you from behind, and then you will lose an opportunity to hit him and the enemies. Or sorry, not hit him, hit the enemies.
specific mashing technique. Nope. Just hit A. Hit A with thumb.
I'm getting careless.
So I missed, but I made up for it by doing 2 charge unlock shots.
Or anything.
The other thing about that Peppy chase right there is that you want to do it as quickly as possible. The faster you kill Peppy, the better it is, because we have 4 enemy spawns that happen afterwards, and it's a quick timer. If you wait too long to kill those enemies chasing Peppy, you will lose out on those enemy spawns. It'll just immediately only go down to 2 spawns, which is, it will add up because we're going to be hitting them with a charge unlock shot. So if you wait too long, it could be something like 10, 15 points that you're missing just like that.
No.
So here comes the first spawn. I think I'm a bit off on all of these if I remember correctly. So I did well on that one. That one I missed the last 2. This one's important because it gives a bomb. And this last one gives a laser upgrade, which I'm not really too concerned about. I have hypers already.
Coming from
Little
behind.
below.
This is an easy baby strat. These guys go around in circles and they're super annoying. If you hit their little spider web things, you take damage. If you hang to the left here and then just hold your laser, hold your laser to lock on, you can just lock onto one and then just mash and you'll kill all of them. And I mark on there, I'm sorry. Here's another tooth rock, so we're going to be shooting the tooth. 4, 5, 6 points. Throw a bomb here for these tunnel enemies. And then what I'm going to be doing here is I charged unlock shot right here. These enemies go flying across left, right, up, down, center, whatever. The charge unlock shot is to pray and hope that maybe I hit one and get extra point. The bomb is to clear all of them no matter what. So you have to be pretty on top of it. My timing's a little off here. I was a little slow, I think. So some of them got away. And then Falco's here stealing your kills, so you got to beat him to that as well. Coming up here are the 2 butterflies. I call them butterflies. They have many names. You need to kill these quickly. If you wait too long to kill that guy, the second one won't spawn. So this is actually right before checkpoint here, which is what I was talking about in Corneria, about why I killed Slippy. I didn't kill him, I just took him down, for the record.
Regular old.
So normally Slippy right now would be being chased by 4 enemies, those same enemies that you have to flip, that are only weak on the back. I did away with that. So Slippy's not here. And we're just gonna be seeing those enemies, same kind of enemies actually, spawn right after checkpoint.
Controller.
I'm going to try to throw some charge unlock shots here to get some extra points. I don't think I'm successful. And then I throw a bomb. This is another case of using a bomb to get a bomb. If you kill all of these enemies, get a bomb back. Got a random rock in here that gives me a gold ring. Health isn't too important here. If I get another ring at this point, I get another life. So if you have full health, right? Normally the energy bar is like half of that, maybe. If you, my hand is going numb from just sitting here. If you get all 3 rings again, you get another life. So this is probably one of the scariest parts of the score run, as well as the speedrun score run. This is getting through Media Warp. So Media Warp itself is not particularly difficult if you know what you're doing. It's the fact that we're going to be shooting things, using charge unlock shots, of course, to shoot rings of enemies while going through the warps and while we go through the last one, we're going to be throwing a bomb and hopefully detonating that bomb in time to get those enemies. Bombs in this game are timed bombs, meaning that you tap B once to deploy it and then tap B again to explode it. So you can you can throw a bomb really far, which we'll see here momentarily, but we want to be pretty accurate with where we're going to be exploding this bomb. We also have to be careful with when you are using bombs in general. You do want to be careful in this game, or when in score running, with accidentally locking on while you're trying to bomb. If you accidentally lock on to something and then you use a bomb, the bombs are homing. They'll follow whatever you just locked onto, which is bad. You don't want that to happen. So, because the bomb, the enemy could be going anywhere. So anyway, let's see. I do a really good job here of going through the warp.
Like the newer.
So charge unlock shot here on this first row, or first ring.
8
Plus
buttons,
7.
If that makes sense.
Plus 7 on that one. Okay, and we see here that I exploded the bomb perfectly because these guys are dying. I don't know how many actually died. There's no way to really tell because the screen is about to fade to white, and we're not going to see it. So I'm just going to be looking at my score right here. I think anything above 220 is a good place to be for me. Yeah, if we're going into warp like under 200, it's not great. Media warp, if you remember, you'll see it. It's very trippy. It's very trippy. Lots of things to shoot. But that was pretty much a flawless entry there for me.
That would be like super impressive if you could beat Star Fox 64 with your feet or something.
Charge unlock shot there.
Nice.
We're gonna be hitting this guy. This guy has a lot of enemies like attached to him. So we're gonna be getting like quite a few points on him. Getting a couple of these spider guys. I have no idea how I got +1 there. And then here's an example of me throwing a bomb very, very far. We refill on bombs here, very important. The next thing that we're going to be doing is shooting on charge unlock shots at these spider. I don't know what to call them. They're just spider enemies. Basically, they have a bunch of little guys all around them, right? You see that? Those are all killable. And if you get charge unlock shots on them, you get extra points. So we want to kind of use those as many times as possible and then bomb them to kill everything. So you'll see that here. Killing every one of these enemies is not a huge deal. Of course, you want to. We also have the rocks on the right and the left to kill. I actually think something weird happened here. I need to double check this. But I used a bomb to take care of those guys because I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to. But I missed out on a last section of enemies that was supposed to spawn. I did a charge unlock shot there to get +4, which is really good. And then we have these guys. These guys are super annoying. They're jumping up and down like indeterminately at different intervals. And it's kind of just like shoot and pray. I mean, like, you can try your best to aim, but like, if you don't get every single one, like, no one's gonna really bat an eye. It's like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. But for the most part, yeah, you just kind of maybe shoot an unlocked shot. But since you're constantly moving forward, right? This is a rail shooter. We're always moving forward. Like, you gotta be quick. Like, these guys are coming at you fast. So if you miss the shots, just abandon ship and shoot. Right? Just spam. All right. So using more bombs here. These last rocks give you a ton of items, as you can tell. So I'm kind of actively trying to pick up bombs for Katina, which is the next area, and shoot down everything as much as possible.
Yo, 421, blaze it almost. But
421 is good, not a PB for me. I think 435 is a gold for me. So, but it was better than my PB, my previous PB. So, as you can tell, we are plus 28 going into Katina.
Listen, gamers. Now we have to do the hard game, the hard part.
I'm gonna give myself like a second to just drink some water because I've been talking.
Yeah, please do. You've been killing it with the commentary. I've
Thanks.
just been sitting here letting you go on because I'm like, she's slaying.
Yeah, did we have any questions so far? Anything that I missed? I've been trying to look at chat, but like chat's like way off to the right for me. Is there any questions? Anything I missed so far? Are we good?
Everyone's just super hyped for the run, obviously.
Cool.
Like, overall. We've
Sweet.
been enjoying
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Chad, if you do have any questions, I'm happy to pass them on to Kelsey. So
Yeah, and I know just looking at chat, we have a couple of Star Fox 64 score runner in chat as well that are more than happy to answer your questions. Adam and Words. Adam is the world record holder overall of this game for score running, and Words is the record holder, I believe, of this route. So yeah, they know their stuff. Feel free to ask them questions. They will definitely answer on behalf of me and or correct me. So yeah, definitely ask them stuff. Okay, so funnily enough, in this PB, I actually explained how Katina works. So Katina is our next level here. People lovingly remember it as the Independence Day level because this game came out the same year as Independence Day, the movie. So this is like the level that looks like the movie. This is probably one of the most frustrating levels. It's a bit of RNG. It's a bit of mistiming. And funnily enough, I actually explain how this level works in my PB, but I'm going to skip over the explanation because I'm like stumbling over my words for like 3 minutes because I was kind of in the zone. So I'm going to explain it better this time, and you guys won't have to listen to whatever the heck I was saying. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and play it, and then I'll explain what's happening. And then I'll go to the part. I actually reset here quite a few times because I mess it up quite a few times. So, which is typical of me and for many people in this level. So I'll just let it play, and then I'll skip forward to the part where I actually get through Katina. All right. So Katina, like I said, is the Independence Day level. There's kind of like a timeline, if you want to think of this level that is running on. So the first thing that we're going to see here is you enter the level. There's just enemies flying around, and the first thing that we want to do is kill 15 enemies. If I don't have hyper lasers, I do have hyper lasers. Hyper lasers here are ideal because they take down the enemies very quickly. These are just baby little bogeys. They go down after 1 or 2 shots, easy peasy. If I don't have hypers, which will happen in this run because I restart this level for a very good reason, I do need to kill 15 enemies, and actually you just saw it right there. 15 enemies gets you the laser upgrade. Right there it is. Very fleeting, but it's there. So the timeline is 10 kills. Bill, your buddy here, says, hey, enemy mothership approaching. 15 kills, you get the laser upgrade. 16, 17, 18 kills. The mothership approaches over the pyramid.
Charge and lock shots.
And at this point, I'm going to be starting a timer. I actually don't think you can see my timer on screen. It's hidden behind chat or something. I have it on my monitor, so I know what's going on. But so I count to 7 enemies leaving the ship here. And at that point, I have 3 minutes and 40 seconds to kill as many enemies as possible, or thereabouts. If you notice at the beginning of the level, I zoomed out. I have the R-wing as far away as possible from my point of view because I'm trying to generate lag. The more lag I generate, the more time I have to get more enemies. Well, the enemies come from the hatches, and I need to kill more enemies for the hatches to spawn more enemies. So we're kind of like in this cycle right here where I'm killing. Enemies, hatches open, they spawn, kill. So we do that for 3 minutes and 40 seconds or thereabouts. It's never the same twice. And I actually mess up on my first attempt here. I think I mess up on 3 attempts actually. Nah, I mess up on 2 attempts. And the third attempt, I missed the laser upgrade, so I had to start over again. So anyway, I'm here. I'm going at it.
How dare they?
We need to keep Peppy alive. Is the other important thing for this level. I cannot accidentally shoot down Peppy, and with hypers, it's very easy to do. And also, he just kind of has a tendency to fly in front of you all the time. As you can see, he's like right there on screen. But he needs to be in Sector X, and the reason for that is that he spawns a bunch of, kind of like how Slippy does. The lack of Slippy spawns more enemies in Medio. It's the opposite in Sector X. Peppy being there spawns more enemies in Sector X that are super important. So we keep him alive. Falco can die, we don't really care. Slippy can die, it's not a great thing if he dies because one enemy doesn't spawn in Sector X, it's worth 5 points. But I think actually I accidentally take him down my successful attempt, which is, it's not a big deal. I was already so far ahead that it was like fine. So yeah, we're here for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And around that time, around the 3 minutes and 40 seconds second part, we're trying to time it so that the hatches open right before the timer appears. So the quick way to win this level is to shoot down the hatches and shoot down the core, and then the mothership falls down and it's game over, right? That's game over for them, you win. Well, because we're trying to get score, right? We want more kills, we want more higher score. We're just ignoring the hatches right now. But we want them out to spawn more enemies, right? So the tricky thing is, at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, Bill is like, or the game is like, forget you, I'm bringing out the core, whatever, dude. And at that point, the mothership doesn't spawn any more enemies. So you have to kill whatever is left on the field. And you also need to hopefully have those hatches out because that's 24 points. Okay? So it's a lot happening. Katina is a mess. It is just, there's so much happening in Katina that you have to keep track of. And you're just here spray shooting, hoping that you are shooting, charge unlock shots when you can, knowing when to lock on, knowing, like I'm looking at my mini map constantly here on the bottom right to see where the enemies are. Because they tend to do this like formation where they group and then they disperse and group and disperse. And really the rule is always keep turning one side. Me doing barrel rolls here over and over again kind of keeps me in a steady trajectory in a circle. And so as you see here, what just happened, let me pause. Here's the timer and there's no hatches on the ship. So I scream my disagreement loudly, and then I reset the level, and then I lose my lasers, right? But I do have the other thing about Katina is that you want 3 bombs or so, and we have 3 bombs, and we're going to start with 3 bombs. Anytime you restart a level, you get 3 bombs back, and that's going to be important in Sector X. Okay.
I need the hatches to be down when the timer starts.
I might have missed you explaining this earlier, but that's interesting that you can opt to reset the level in a score attack.
Yeah. So yeah, in a score run, it doesn't matter as long as you don't get game over. Yeah, like I think maybe I was muted then, but yeah. So basically, you can go as long of a score run as you want. This one happened to be around an hour and a half long. I've had a score run that's lasted like 4 hours and 30 minutes before because I was stuck here. Actually, of all levels, I was stuck here for like 2 hours because I couldn't get a score that I wanted and I kept messing up. And at that point, it becomes an endurance game. Like you're just exhausted because you've been sitting here shooting things for hours. But yeah, as long as you don't get a game over, it's a valid run. That being said, there is a category in score running that's called single life, which obviously, of course, means it's, start to finish, don't get to start over. You take what you get, you move on, you only get to play each level once. So this is kind of like the easier version of that. I've only done single life like maybe a handful of times. It's definitely tricky in how you do it, but yeah, it's different. So this level, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip ahead here. I think, let's see, 16.
Man, there's just no end to these guys.
22. Okay.
There's one down. End to these guys.
There's a reason why I didn't take this one. Oh, okay, yeah. It's the same thing where I missed the hatches again.
Everything. They have a line for.
So we need Katina start 2641.
They have a line for when
Skipping ahead. Like I said, this is just the same thing over and over again, so I'm going to skip right through it. Okay. So, as you see here, down to 3 lives. I have the pea shooter, the single shooter. So the first thing I need to do is get that laser upgrade. So I'm going to be looking for 15 enemies to kill right away. Something else that I do at the very beginning of this, sorry, I just didn't mean to go back, is I shoot a couple of charge unlock shots at the very beginning because sometimes you can kind of get them right here. Like the enemies are all flying to the left, flying to the left, flying to the left, and sometimes you can get a shot right here and get like, I think one time I got like 5 at once, and I popped off really hard because that never happens. But yeah, it's kind of like lucky. If you don't get it, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, it's ideally you want to get a few charge unlock shots on those guys. So anyway. Past Kelpsy doesn't talk much. I was focusing. I was on pace, When you're on pace, you gotta focus. Also, Katina is really hard to multitask unless you're, because you're constantly looking at the screen. There's no room for me to really look at chat even, which is sad. Which is funny actually, because when I was rewatching this VOD, I missed like 3 questions from chat. Oops. But yeah.
So there's my laser upgrade.
So it's important that the other thing about the laser upgrade is that the laser upgrade has to stay on screen. In this level, for whatever, maybe it's every level, but if the laser upgrade goes off screen, it despawns, which is not good. We don't want it to despawn because then we don't get it right. So we have to keep it, we have to see it and get it right away.
There are backups. So like for example, when we go into
I'm just explaining something to chat real quick.
That we go. Beth, you're in the.
I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, there's no time limit, so I'm just kind of going leisurely right now and explaining a lot of stuff. Here's the mothership cutscene.
It was fun.
And once again, I was zoomed out to generate more lag. It's all range modes. We're going in circles. But we want as much of the game happening on the screen as possible.
Okay, timer started.
Here they come.
So one thing that happens here at the beginning is
Try shooting the bad guys, boss.
the enemies
Hatches are open.
tend to swarm right in the middle.
Go for the 4 hatches.
I just explained it in the video, but I don't know if you guys heard that. Another strat that you do at the beginning of the mothership cutscene is like after a few seconds after like the cutscene happens, the enemies all go out and then they all swarm into the pyramid. So it's actually in your favor to throw a bomb at the pyramid. And we're gonna try to use bombs later again to kill a bunch of enemies when I think the timer for the core is about to happen so that the hatches come out. So that's actually the strat you're supposed to do. I didn't really explain that. Sorry. Oh, space does not play.
Shooting the bad guys, boss.
So I did an okay job there. I got a few.
Swarm right in the middle.
Go for the 4 hatches on the underside.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, the hypers make this level even easier. You just don't have to.
The hatches are open.
The enemies just go down a little easier. Like just they don't.
Hatches
take out
are
any-
open.
Not
I'm
that
gonna.
they take a ton. They just take a couple, I want to say. But yeah, hypers you can really go ham in this
More of a
level.
ziggurat. Okay. Words.
Single laser
The hatches are open.
in this level.
I might zoom. I might fast forward through this. I'm literally just shooting enemies in circles for like 3 minutes, so I'm just gonna fast forward to the important part.
Circle where you-
Let's see. Also, funny story. One time I did a Star Fox score run on a previously, like maybe not quite a year ago, but ADEF had me on for a hotfix show, and I was stuck here on Katina for like an hour and a half. I was trying to get 2,000 points. I was pretty new to score running still, and 2,000 points was still like a challenge for me. And I mean, it was pretty brutal being stuck here for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I mean, like you look at the VOD on YouTube and people are like, skip to this point if you don't want to watch Katina anymore. So I'm very like, okay, let's skip through Katina. We don't need to watch this. Like, so it's fine.
Them, they made you self-conscious.
Oh, it's
Word was
it's
saying
not-
how their PB at one time was 7 hours long. So
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like some people just take hours and hours on this game. And it's just a marathon.
I won't let you get away from me.
But yeah, no, it's fine. I honestly laughed at that comment. I was like, you know what? I didn't realize how long it was. Like that I was trying to get a good score. So yeah,
that's
looking
when
at
you're focusing, right?
yeah, it's when you're focusing, and I felt bad because I kept having to restart. I'm like, I'm really sorry. So anyway, yeah, let me stop right here. Real quick, just to explain something. So yeah, my PB score has a 258 on Katina, which we're a little far from right now. When core comes out, which is when this timer is, I think my best ever was like a 230 something, and then I like ended, it was like a 270 or something. It was really good, but so. We're not going to be quite, I think we lose some points here on PB, which is unfortunate. But just so you guys see it, I was able to get the hatches out with the timer,
Perfect.
which is perfect.
That's fine.
It's never an exact science. It's just kind of a feeling in your gut when you need to throw that bomb to get those enemies down so the hatches come out before the timer. It's just really frustrating when it doesn't happen.
All right, so now
yeah.
we shoot the hatches. No more.
This
enemies
is
are
just a
coming
painful level. Very long.
out. Yeah, that's okay.
So at this point, no more enemies are spawning. So I'm just shooting down the hatches. The level won't end until the core is down, and I'm not even gonna bother shooting the core. Some people ask like, why don't you shoot the core? Because the core is worth points. Well,
Clean up
the core is considered the boss, and like I said in Corneria, the faster you kill something, the more points you get. So if I shot the core, if I bombed the core immediately, I would get 11 points for it, but that doesn't add up to how many enemies are still on the field or on the level, as well as, you know, all the hatches that I could get. So, and the timer goes pretty quickly too. I want to say if you don't get it within the first like 10, 15 seconds, you don't even get full points. You only get 6 points. So we just completely ignore the core. We ignore the core. The game doesn't punish you for not taking down the mothership. It just flips over and destroys Katina, Death Star style, probably. And you get mission complete instead of mission accomplished, which is fine. And if you hear me say it right here, I'm tired
of this level.
Like, I don't even know how long I've been doing the score run. I can tell you. I had been playing this game beforehand, but I've been doing this particular run for 30 minutes already, just shooting stuff. And I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I gotta move on. If I want to complete this run, it's just once again having that having that not conscience, but really just knowing when to stop at a level and being like, this is where I draw the line. If I want to keep going, I have to go now instead of keep trying this over and over again. Because I definitely could.
Here, dude.
Okay, so we have again more cutscene here. Ziggurat, it's destroyed.
Yeah, in this
Mission
level, it doesn't
complete.
matter what
Get a
you do.
253, so that's only
if you
-5
take down
on
the
my
ship,
PB. But
take
we're
down
still
the
ahead
ship,
23 points,
get
which is
mission.
great.
Don't get you down, Fox.
Doesn't matter. It just changes your path. If you do mission accomplished, you go to solar. If you get mission complete, you go to X, which is what we're doing now. I think, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so now we're going to go to Sector X.
but you can always change where you want to go.
And Sector X is very precise. It kind of reminds me of Corneria in a way, where you have to be right on it. Otherwise, you got to restart it. And I will restart it. I'm starting here with dual lasers and 2 bombs, which is okay. Ideally, I want 3 bombs here. So there's a little strat where I actually take damage right here on this guy. It kind of bumps me a bit backwards. So I'm able to time this swarm of enemies coming in. And you'll hear me say it again in a second, like what I'm looking for. But I'm looking for a +6, 7, or 8 here because I'm going to be shooting a charge unlock shot and hoping that I get a group of them. I'm just hoping I get a group of them. Sometimes you just miss, and you'll see it. So yeah, I just missed all of those, and I'm like, nah. Start over. So we're going to be doing it again. Starting with only a single shot, not a big deal because, like I said, we're using charge and lock shots here. Charge and lock shots do not have different power amongst laser levels, I guess. So I got a +6, that was good. Throw a bomb here, get a laser. Throw back up to duels.
Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough into the mic.
He's quick. Be careful.
Lots of charge and lock shots here.
Enemy group.
Miss that guy.
Man, they're fast.
Bomb these guys.
We're getting close.
Then there's a minefield here. You can shoot a couple charge and lock shots to get a few of them before you blow them all up with a bomb. So looking at right here, 106 is decent. The frustrating thing about Sector X is these panels. We will see these a few times where there's these little turrets, and the turrets are just there waiting to be shot. But the walls don't always exist in Sector X, and that is by far the most frustrating thing. And you'll see, I'm going to miss it in a second because literally the laser just goes right through the wall like it didn't exist. And there is nothing I can do about it. It's 1997. That's what it is. Okay. There it goes. There it goes again.
I don't know what just happened.
114 is decent there, though.
It's all gone.
Trying to get charge and lock shots on these guys is really tricky. They're pretty strong enemies. Got to shoot them a few times. Got to get rid of that butterfly quickly. Otherwise, he just messes you up. And I get all of these little spinner
So
dudes.
far, so good. My favorite level
127 is a really good checkpoint here. It's a solid checkpoint. 120, 125 is a checkpoint I would take. So 127 feels pretty good. By the way, don't know if I talked about checkpoints, but if I wanted to, say for example, in the latter half of Sector X, I have 5 lives, and I'm I'm on my way to the boss in the second half, right? And there's a lot of tricky shots to do in the second half that you'll see. Say I mess it up. I completely beef it. It's like I just mess it up. Well, I'm allowed to take a death and like start again at checkpoint. So I maintain that 127. And that strat will come in handy in the next level in Macbeth, you'll see. And here I'm thinking about my favorite boss. Somebody in chat asked. And I'm just going to ignore all of that.
Score running, but it's just very hype and very good.
Peppy getting chased.
Thanks, Fox.
More charge and lock shots here. I missed that one. Oh, no, I did get that. Oh, no, I didn't get that one. These guys come at you pretty fast. So once again, you got to be pretty on it. Group of 3 here. They drop another laser. No problem.
I'll attack from the outside.
And then we got these guys. You actually can get a charge and lock shot on that top one. Same deal here with the fake platforms. I did not circle where I thought I was circling. The fake platforms here are once again culprits of not being real. And there's quite a few of them in the second half of Sector X. Especially like right here. Very deliberate there. I do a really bad job of the next group here. All these little turrets. Once again, oh, I thought I was gonna go through. I should have unlocked shot that one. I don't know. I just completely missed all of these guys. I did get the bomb from Rob, which was one consolation. Barely got those. Slow down here for Peppy to catch up so I can shoot all of these enemies coming from behind. So yeah, 256 is good here.
Not bad, not bad.
I did not mention it, but Slippy actually was accidentally shot down. Truly an accident, shot down in Katina. So Slippy is going to do his little line here where he's like, hey, I'm actually here. I'm not dead. And sadly, because he does that, I am missing out on one enemy that is worth 5 points.
Yeah, it's a weird little side thing you can do. I didn't know about that till I started.
There's some hidden enemies here on the side as well in Sector X that I didn't know about till I started score running. One over there. And then there's the space junk, right?
Yeah, no problem.
So here comes Slippy.
Hey, well.
Space junk is down here.
Yeah, no problem.
Look behind you.
Look behind you.
Group of 3 there.
You know.
Another one on the right. I usually try to do a charge on lock shot on the ones coming from the left.
Boosting the whole time.
So there's 2 on the left here.
Speedrun in this game is really short. 20-something minutes.
But yeah, I actually don't even go for it.
All enemies.
The robot tech here. If I don't kill, this robot's definitely on a timer. Once again, you want to kill it as quickly as possible so that you get as many points as possible because that's just the boss lore, right? Faster kills means more points. The second incentive to killing this boss quickly is because of the Slippy the Slippy lore. So Slippy comes back, as we just saw, after he was missing the entire level. Slippy has to have the opportunity to be hit to Titania. If you take too long in this level, on this boss, if you take too long on this boss, Slippy's like, let me handle it. And then he gets whacked off into another planet, and then you have to go chase him. So that's the only reason he comes back, is so that can possibly happen. Otherwise, we're just doing our thing. So we're just going to beat the boss. Like, no problem. And we get a 280 here. 10 points plus 1 for killing the boss quickly, which is on par with PB. So still 23 points ahead when I end this level.
Huh? What?
The view is clear.
Cool.
I must be complete.
Got 280 matching. Yeah. He only says that, UAH.
I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead through the fanfare here.
So,
We know that I get a 280. I keep trying to
here
click
at
on the
the
wrong
end,
thing.
I've taken a few hits.
boss. At this robot boss.
Phase game.
is-
It's me fast forward.
Better, Fox.
So I killed him in End of Sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next level is
Pirate.
Macbeth. I'm gonna go talk about Macbeth just for a minute before we get started. So Macbeth is the tank level. Everybody loves the tank.
Spy goggles. Yeah,
It's a very interesting
yeah, he's
part of the score run, as well as the speed run. Really, it's just it's kind of a break because you're holding the controller. For me, I'm like, it's a relaxing like thing for my hands because the entire time, like, think about a Nintendo 64 controller. For a charge and lock shot, you have to be holding down right and Z, and then you're gonna be constantly moving around. Like, you're constantly braking, so you're hitting C down, and you're constantly or C left. I can't think of which one right now. My hands know, but my brain doesn't. So I mean, it's just kind of like a break from it because there is charge and lock shots in as a tank, but it's just different. Like it's something about the tank just handles different. We're gonna be braking a lot more here, and also doing a lot of lag stuff. You'll see. Well, I'm gonna take a second. My voice is getting hoarse from all the talking. Okay.
guy.
First things first, we bomb the train. We bomb the last two cars on the train on the left here. That gives us a quick 6 points. The important thing now, and I think I messed it up. I know we're good. The important thing here is to not. Let me let the video go ahead a bit. So these guys right here are full of boulders. These boulders are key, absolutely non-negotiable key to getting many points on Macbeth. They they're all their own points. If you shoot the train here, the boulders go bye-bye. So what we do is we weaken these like two trains right here, this two carts, I guess. Box cart, I don't know what you want to call them. Train terminology is not my forte. But we're going to leave them go. We're going to weaken them so we can shoot them down later. But we want the train to dump them. And, you know, that's the line where the conductor is like, here you go. And then we also have these super annoying, like, hills. These things are just super, super irritating because we have one enemy here, one enemy here, one enemy here, one enemy here. So there's these four. There's a turret way back there, a turret right here, and a turret way back there. These four are coming forward in groups of 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. I'm going to shoot right first and then left. And I'm going to hope that I hit them with a charge on lock shot. And if I don't, I'm going to lock onto them. And it is what it is. So. Locked on there. Locked on there. So you can use charge on lock shots on the turrets. The problem with
So bad about walking out of that last one.
the problem with the tank is that you have a tendency to lock on very easily. It just doesn't want to like, I don't know, not lock on. You just have to be very careful with where you're aiming. That's definitely the tricky part. So here comes the boulders.
He comes back. And then
So here we're going to be using charge on lock shots. We're going to be shooting them up here so that the explosion hits the boulders down here. We have a few enemies coming in from the right. We're going to hope that we hit them. This entire part right here, where these boulders fall, is RNG. Sometimes you get a bad boulder like layout, and you just do the best you can. And if it's crappy, you start over. Like I said, the tank doesn't. I don't know if I said this, but the tank doesn't have any laser upgrades. The tank is just a single disc throwing thing. So, excuse me. So like do the best you can. If you start over, it doesn't matter. You're not losing any laser upgrades or anything, and just go for it. So yeah, charge and lock shots on all of these boulders. We want to be above like 50 points here. Would be ideal. I accidentally locked onto that turret there. That was bad. So we're at 51, 53. Tried to get that last one. Couldn't get it. You want to beat Peppy to that turret right there. He will shoot it down if you don't. And then we're kind of just aiming upwards into the sky and hoping that we get charged on lock shots. That turret right there gives 5 points for some reason. We don't know why.
Wow, stealing my kills.
But yeah, the other thing about this section in Macbeth is that, like, you're hoping that all of the, like, charge and lock shots you're shooting into the air are hitting more than one enemy. You're also hoping that your teammates suck and they don't shoot anything down. You can steal the kill back if you're good. Like, if they shoot something down and it's like, boo, 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 you can shoot it midair on its way down and get the point back. But sometimes you just can't because it's just too hard, It's an impossible situation.
Nope.
I missed that one completely. It just went off screen. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead here. This section is really interesting. So this is you cannot really tell, but this section right here is actually a slope. It makes sense if you think about it because the boulders are rolling towards you, so they have to be going downhill, right? For some reason, don't know why this is, but if you aim at the ground here and you do lots of charge and lock shots, similar to the toothed rocks in Medio, you just get points. Doesn't matter. You just get a lot of points for some reason. So I'm going to be spamming shots on the ground. Some of them are going to be hitting these boulders coming at my face, but for the most part, I'm going to be trying to get as many as possible just by shooting at the ground. Like, I'm doing a bad job here. It's a weird timing. Like, the cadence is kind of funky here.
I don't know why I was having issues there.
But
That's so wacky.
It's weird. Yeah. So again, shooting. There's the train that we damaged before, the cart that we damaged before. So we're trying to take those down because those are just free points. There's no boulders in them, but they are points. They just take a lot of little discs. Charge on lock shots on these guys, except for that group right there. I completely messed up. Oh God, sorry. And then at this point, I'm at 116, which is not great. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead here. What I tried to do, actually, let me show you real quick.
Damn it.
Right. Sorry, one sec. Been ahead too much. What I tried to do right here is I tried to shoot this thing down, right? Gives me points. But also tried to get the tank up here. Not many people know this, but if you get on the track up here, Flippy suddenly gets chased by 2 extra enemies. Okay, so we take that, right? We take those. So, but I didn't A, this thing is in my way, so I wasn't going to get up there. And B, I just tried to hover and boost too late, so I just kind of skimmed the bottom of it, yeah, that's bad. that's real bad. So, try to so if you see me how I'm bumping against the wall here, what I'm doing is I'm letting the train go ahead. When the train's ahead, it shoots stuff down for me to shoot. So it's all about letting the conductor basically try to make my life miserable, but we're not, we're fine. More boulders here.
It's okay.
Falco gets chased, you save him. Extra point if you can. Then we're going to roll to the left a lot. Same deal here. We have no ledge to bump against for the train to go forward. So if we just keep rolling left nonstop, the train keeps going because it thinks we're rolling forward as well. And then it will shoot down more boulders.
You can go ahead and shoot down rocks, boulders.
So you can see it just shooting more boulders. And I'm sitting here just shooting the wall and letting those charge on lock shots hit those boulders for me. So the next thing I try to do here is throw a bomb to shoot down that turret on the train. It does not hit. It does not hit the train, which is absolutely frustrating because I don't know why it didn't hit. It just sometimes that happens. You know, it is what it is. And so I'm like, so I look at my score here. It's a 151. When I kill the boss using the fast route, right? You blow up the train. That's a 51 points. So I'm at 202, and then we get like an extra like 16 or so. Like this was a low score. So I toss it. Yeah, like this is bad. So we're gonna just skip ahead here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go over the key points. So I got a charge unlock shot there. Got one off the hill there. That was pretty sick. Again, charge unlock shot there, over there. Blah blah blah. All right. Gonna zoom through this. All right, so we're about on par with the last run at this point, 53 points. Again, shooting into the air. We're gonna just fast forward a bit here to the key points where I look for. 75 points is good here. And then we're gonna try to shoot the slope again.
How's the landmaster, Fox?
I did a bad job there. I mean, I absolutely just got destroyed by a boulder. This is not my best Macbeth. I was not really proud of this one. Do a couple of charge unlock shots there. Great, great, great. Awesome. All right. So, as we can see, I have successfully shot down the cart that was in the way in this particular attempt. I make it onto the train track. Here comes Slippy. So the tricky thing with Slippy getting chased is that you don't have the extra room for you to like slowly take these boulders. So I'm trying to like not get killed by like running into enemies. It's pretty relentless in this area. Like if you come in here with like half health, you might die. So we're doing well here though. 143 is really nice. 144 is really nice here. So once again, rolling into the side, blah, 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 blah. And you can tell we're already 8 points up from that last run, just pre-bomb throwing. I actually managed to hit the turret here, and then we're just gonna shoot down the train. The funny thing about the train, if you go through the checkpoint, you shoot down as much as the train as you can here. You get some points. We're gonna go through the checkpoint, but if we die after checkpoint, after taking down most of the train respawns. So it's free points. Like there's no reason not to do it. In a speed run, we wouldn't do that because you're just, sitting like a duck, like waiting to die, and you'll see how.
Right now?
Like I'm literally just gonna run into this wall for like 30 seconds, waiting for my health to go down. So I'm dead, and then it's great, and then there's the train all respawned again. So we get extra points for doing that. So now we're going to be trying to get
Why am I driving?
Gonna be getting a bomb here. If you go through this little thing and then this thing,
Respawns,
get a free
I get
bomb.
extra points. That's why we're taking it for me.
Shoot down this guy, and then that's as much as the train as it can go down at this point. So we want to do the fast boss strat, right, or the harder strat, which is to shoot all of the switches. We're gonna use the switches first. Actually, let the video go a bit ahead here. So there's 4 switches here. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one up there. We're gonna use charge unlock shots. This shot is gonna hit this first switch and kill this guy. The second switch, I'm gonna shoot kind of like vaguely in this direction over here and shoot another enemy that comes down, and then also shoot the switches. We have to shoot every switch. Then I'm gonna roll to the left and shoot this switch. Actually, I'm gonna shoot switch 4 first, and then come back and hit switch 3, do another charge unlock shot, and get extra points. So we're just farming off the switches. It's pretty great. Actually, I used the switch there. That was nice. Hit switch 4. I missed the bomb from Rob, but that's not a big deal.
That's fine.
Flow down here, let the enemy spawn. Boom. And then there's a switch actually on the left side as well here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and Fast forward a bit, we're just rolling, hitting switches. There's a switch on the other side over here that we got. Easy peasy. Switch number 7 is where I'm shooting.
We were talking about that earlier, Tori.
You don't have to see it. People get nervous because, like, I was kind of shooting blindly there. There's an audio cue for when the switches get flipped. So, like, as long as I hear it, I know I'm good. Like, you don't have to see it. I used to think you have to see it, but you don't have to see it.
I didn't even hear number 7 go up.
Okay, now shoot the switch.
We're gonna go ahead and let
Yeah, it sends the train on a different rail, and then it goes to.
train goes on a different rail. It goes into like the ammo
So that's
bow or something, and it blows up. You get 51 points. So so here, I get a 248, maybe 240 something, 243. This is the longest cutscene in the entire run. It's like 40 something seconds. Super long. 241. So I got +3 there. I had a 238 in my PB, which isn't bad. Could have been better. Macbeth, not a bad one. I mean, anytime you're gaining points is great on your PB, but like, I'm not, like, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. All right, Area 6. Area heckin' 6. Area 6 is by far the hardest part of a score run if you do this particular route. I'm really excited here because I'm like about to PB. What I'm not so excited about is this score. I have a 560 on my PB for, I cannot circle it. I'm so sorry. I can't see where my cursor is. Boom, 560 on Area 6, which is pretty good. It's 5 points off of my gold, which is very hard. And like I said, I mentioned this a few hours ago, but if you weren't here, I took a really long break from score running, a few months, maybe like 6 something months or so. And so like my muscle memory for doing things on Area 6 hadn't completely returned yet. So I was a little nervous about this because I knew I wasn't going to get a 560. My goal was just to get close enough that I was still going to still be ahead in PB, right? So nothing less than a 534, I guess, is what I was going to take. The other scary thing is, like I said, you cannot game over. So I only have 8 lives to play with. But yeah, get into it.
I just have to game on Area 6. My arm's sore, dude. Straight up.
And I'm tired at this point. I mean, like, I've been going for a while. Like, my arms are tired. Like, my hand is tired. My wrist is tired. Trigger finger's tired from holding down R. A is, wrist. This game is physically exhausting when you're score running. So first things first here, because I started over in Macbeth, I was down to single shooter or single laser again. So I have to defeat that first group of enemies to get a laser upgrade. And then we just throw bombs into this mine. We're going to do a cool thing where we do a flip and then the mines will respawn. Do it again. And then we want to shoot these satellites down. Satellites are worth 5 points each, I believe. Get the group behind Falco. We're braking. We're trying to brake so we have time to shoot everything. But again, because we only have dual lasers and not hypers, everything is just a little harder. Ideally, you come into Area 6 with hyper lasers. But we're really by the time we get to missiles, which is you'll see in a moment, we want to be around 220. And the funny thing and the crazy thing about Area 6 is that you get a quarter of your hits in the entire score run. You get 500 and something points here out of for me, my high score is a 2215. So I'm getting literally just under 25% of my score, right here. So lots of charge and lock shots, lots of braking, very specific shots here. Took a lot of damage, not great. So here I take a moment to think about it. I'm like, I have 8 lives. I have a 203 plus the 5 missiles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 208. That's not great. I kind of want to be at a 215 here, and that's not where I want to be. do I have it in me physically? And like, is my stamina ready to go? And I say, yeah, let's do it again. And that was probably my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I really should have just taken this 208 and just gone, really. So I start over.
Mash for you. Left of her.
And I'm tired already, which was a stupid thing.
Entering
Pause face.
death zone.
Yeah.
Everybody stay alert.
Space mine's ahead.
So I'm going to go ahead and just like fast forward, doing a lot of the same thing. I'm missing a lot here because, again, like I said, I'm tired. I noticed that I'm only at, I miss all of those enemies there, and I'm at like 140. I'm like, this is terrible.
I missed
Crap
a lot.
it. So we do it again. I think this one I restart at missiles again. Yep. 159 before even getting to the what are they called? The destroyers, like in Star Wars, you know? Yeah, 160 is bad there. We want to be like 180, 170, 180. So I was like 10 plus points down already.
Nope.
And it was probably something with the mines that I didn't do correctly, which is annoying. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the point where I have 2 lives left, which is at an hour mark. Because that's when I stopped resetting. I literally reset at the beginning 6 times, which is one of the more, I don't know, honestly, I think at the beginning is more mash heavy, and at the end is more charge and lock shot heavy. But yeah, I literally was wearing myself out at the beginning 6 times, and that was just such a huge mistake. So I'll go ahead and get to checkpoint or to destroyers.
I don't even care right now.
So I get a 209 here, which is only 1 point better than my first attempt. And all right, here's the second half of the level.
Did we get them? Not yet, sir. They're on me.
So Peppy gets chased here. You can throw some shots to get those things like chasing him. But I did not get any of them. I think I was just so over it at this point. You can see my exhaustion, like just like being super clumsy with my shots. I'm ignoring the C call because it's just Andros talking. I don't really care. Sometimes Rob will call you and try to help you out, and it doesn't affect your score. It just kind of helps you. But I ignore him anyway. I'm just like whatever, like tunnel vision in the zone. In this area here, you're trying to do well. Hold on. We have these little like floater guys. In that part. Oh my god, how far did I just go back? Sorry. We have these
Time warping.
I know. These little floater guys you want to shoot charge on lock shots and hopefully get extra points off them. But I mean, like, I'm just mashing, like, forget it. But yeah, this part you want to shoot these little satellites. Those are worth many points, but they fly fast at you, so you got to be quick. You're mashing. And then the butterflies show up. Ideally, you want 4 of them to show up, I think. Maybe 3. I know in Expert you get more of them. But yeah, we definitely want at least 3 here. This is right before checkpoint. Checkpoint, I want like a 270 would be great. But I got 267, which is good. And this is the second half of the level. If I messed up here, I could do the strat where actually I like dupe a bunch of lasers and then I get Pipers right away. No big deal. But I only have 2 lives, so I'm just kind of like go mode right now. I'm just like, let's go, let's get it over with. Like I need to just go. These guys also drop lasers when you do 2 lock shots on them, and you just kind of hope that that you're gonna hit these enemies. I have no bombs here, which is a little tricky. But there's so many things to shoot here. The world record in this in this level is over 700 points, which is insane. I would love to hit 600 one day, but it is incredibly difficult. I mean, your hand is about to fall off when you're grinding this this level. It should just, I mean, like, I don't double mash or anything. I literally just am smacking A with a thumb, and yeah, it's very intensive. Should have done a charge and lock shot there. I just want to call out these enemies right here. These enemies are the worst group of enemies in the entire game. They just don't like line up right. They are just frustrating. They fly apart as soon as you shoot them. They're just like, I mean, like, I should have gotten more points than that there. It's so frustrating. It happens every time. All right, that's just my personal rant. I don't like them. The worst enemies right there. But yeah, doing lots of charge and lock shots on the turrets, on the destroyers, as well as, like, you know, shooting down the destroyers themselves. Lots of points here at the end. So my face here is, oh God, I'm only getting a 545. So Gorgon's about to show up. Gorgon is a really tricky boss. If you're not on top of it, can be tricky, can be detrimental. But 545 is not quite close to a 560. So I'm missing 15 points here, which is sad, but it's okay. But I take it. Like, I have to take it. I only have 2 lives left. Yes, I could only need 1 life at Venom, but I don't. I want to have 2 lives just in case something might go wrong. And it turns out I do take those lives. I mean, well, I'll get more lives anyway.
Yeah.
So here I'm just taking a stretch break. My hand is about to fall off. And I'm about to just skip through all of this. I actually get up for a second. My dog is here for some moral support. She comes and says hi, and it's the best thing ever. And then I just have a moment with the dog, and then I get up for a minute, go stretch. Lots of...
All very important for the run.
Very important.
Very
you guys
important.
Gotta make sure you stretch and hydrate, especially when you're score running. It is just so important. You don't even know. Get some moral support from your dog or whatever furry animal you may have nearby. It's very good. It's good for your health. Just saying. Anyway, so I get back, and then it's boss time, and Gorgon is pretty straightforward.
Time to take down.
Shoot the tentacles, then you shoot the little energy balls,
Deployed now.
and then you do it again, and then you shoot the core, and then it's over. One thing I do love about Area 6, Area 6 is my favorite level as much as it makes
my fault.
me want to
I
cry,
forgot to refill that, but I was saying earlier.
is the steady, like, moving towards Venom the entire time. When you, like, show up, Venom's, like, really far away, but then by the time you're here, right outside of Venom, like, it's literally right there. It's just a very cool, like, thing that they did in this game that they didn't have to. I do use a regular Nintendo 64 controller. I did something very cool growing up, which was only use the really good controllers, the really fun-looking ones. And then now as an adult, I have very good gray controllers that I never used as a kid because they were the ugly ones. So, did myself a favor as a child by not using a couple controllers. I'm gonna just fast forward through this. It's just a boss fight.
What?
I did have like 1 cycle at the beginning there, which was nice, but doesn't do anything, sadly.
Big bright lights. Watch out.
Oh, let me just skip through that. That is a photosensitive warning for you. This is a little bright.
Free energy balls. The shield is gone. Shoot the core.
So yeah, did it quickly enough. Got 11 points, easy peasy. Got my 545, so down 15. So only plus 11 at this point instead of plus 26. So it's kind of heartbreaking. But yeah. Okay, let's talk about Venom. So Venom, last level. Venom is cool because you're doing a dogfight against Starwolf. And the first time you're supposed to see Starwolf is on Fortuna or Ficina, same thing. And and they have crappy ships, and you can bomb them, and it's hilarious. I think you can bomb them. You can like bomb them. You can just like shoot them with the laser, or you can shoot them with the charge shot. They're just like cake. It's a cakewalk. But this time when you see them, this is supposed to be your second encounter with them. So it's kind of funny because we swapped back and forth between routes. So like the team is talking like we had seen them before, but we've never seen them before in this run. And they have better ships, right? You can't lock onto them. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm actually going to try to do a charge and lock shot on the ships because they actually come in. If you notice on the mini map, I cannot see my cursor. Notice on the mini map, they're all hunkered down together, coming on in. And so the idea is to get behind them and shoot them from the back. Ideally, you shoot all of them with a charge unlock shot and you get like plus 3-4 points, like 2-3 points. It's great. Because the second you shoot them, they scatter, right? They scatter like roaches. They basically are. So you wanna try to hit them as soon as possible.
Let's see how you handle.
I think I miss, which is a really great example of a PB. Yep. Okay, cool. Awesome. I do hit him there though. I hit I think that's Pigma that I shoot down first. So I'm just trying to farm some points off them. Again, the boss rule applies to Star Wolf. The faster you kill them, the more points you get. You take too long, you only get 31 points. The max point, if you kill them quickly, you get 51 points per. If you kill them, if you're too slow, it's 31. So yeah, I'm trying to take them down as quickly as possible.
Right behind you. Knock it off, Fox.
So this is just a dogfight. Nothing really.
Ah! I see you've got
Game, I assure you.
So
It is-
normally,
Oh, sorry.
I'll
Go on.
ask. Sorry, normally I'll ask runners on my show, like, at what point of the run do you start to get really nervous? But I feel like it's a lot different with the score running. Do you like kind of at this point of the run have an idea of what your end score will likely be?
Yeah.
Or-
So the nervous part is Area 6 because
Okay.
it's so volatile, and it's very challenging. Venom is pretty straightforward. If as long as you shoot down Star Wolf quickly, it should be easy with enough practice. And as long as you don't soft lock your game here, because you can also do that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just some weird thing with the cutscene that happens here, like before you enter into the little like hole. Sometimes Fox will start it goes into the cutscene and then Fox starts flying around in circles forever. So actually, it's a hard lock. You can't like do anything about it. You just have to reset your game and GG. But yeah, I would say Area 6 is when I start to get a little nervous, and then Venom is pretty straightforward. Try to get some points off of Star Wolf if you can. Get some points off of Andross's eyeballs if you can, like some extra points. Normally they drop 11 points total, but you can also get some charge and lock shot points off them. Andross's brain is 10 points as well. So without any charge and lock shots, your score on Venom with killing Wolf quickly is a 227 every time. As you can see on my PB, I have a 229, and I think that's actually what I end up with in this one because I'm 1 point up here. Normally, like no charge unlock shots, you enter here with 204, and I only have 205, so I actually get 1 point later. This part, I actually forgot where to go to get lasers because I wanted a bomb. I have no bombs here, and I need a bomb just in case something goes wrong with Andross.
Did it get deleted?
So I'm just gonna skip through here. I'm just literally like, what's the path I take? Funny thing, all the tunnels are different. They all give you something different. Some of them are shorter and some of them are longer. The longest tunnel, which is what I was trying to figure out, which is like left, right, left, left, right, right, gives you everything. It gives you 3 rings. It gives you a bomb. It gives you 2 laser upgrades. So it's good to go that way. You're not, all powered up and ready to go. Speaking of Doggy.
Right.
Hi, doggy.
Left.
Oh, girl. Okay. Almost there. Let me just get to Andros. I mess up Andros here. My strat personally is to shoot the eyes, shoot the hand, shoot the eyes, shoot the hand. Something weird with Andros where like if you don't like shoot the eyes, he does the suck attack, and you need to have a bomb there, otherwise you go in and you lose your wings. No good. So I like to have a bomb here. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do here, this is a fancy cool thing. I have a charge shot happening, or I have a charge shot loaded. I'm gonna try to do a backflip right before the cutscene happens here. So it's like, so Andros, you show your true form. Like I'm trying to do a backflip like right before that line so that it interrupts the cutscene, and then it gives me some extra time to lock onto his eyeballs and shoot a charge shot at the eyeballs and get an extra point. Yeah, I believe.
I have the brains to rule my life.
Oh no. Shit.
I messed it up.
So, Andros, you show your true form.
I can quote this entire game. This game just lives rent-free in my head, the quotes. Yeah, I messed it up. So I didn't get the extra space. And then I'm like kind of sitting here like, I don't like that. I don't like how that happened. And then I take a moment and I'm like,
Get out, dude.
oh, I got hecked up. I forgot about that. I got hecked up by the brain. Let me give you all a replay of this. I'm trying to find the other eyeball. I get the other eyeball. And then I'm about to go for the brain, like fully fine with the fact that I'm getting a 228 here. And I'm going towards him, and he just like...
Whoa! What? Dude, he just sucked me in! Like...
The gravity in the Andros fight is really weird to begin with, but I just didn't like have any control. For some reason, like I guess I should have gone left instead of right, but like I started turning too late. There's nothing I could have done. So when I leave Andros's little brain tentacles, I'm missing a wing, which is really frustrating, and I'm like, heck that, I'm starting over.
Yeah.
So when you restart the course here, it starts you in the tunnels. You don't have to do Wolf again, thank goodness. Because doing Wolf with single laser is pretty much impossible. So not impossible, but it's a high difficulty factor. So it's a good thing that we just start in the tunnels. When we get here, Juno's giving me another moment. Thank you, dog. Appreciate you. All right, shooting Andros again.
Hey, good job. Good job, Shorty.
See if I get the cutscene here. I don't know if I do. I'm like looking at my controller to make sure I have the right buttons pressed. This is how you know I'm rusty. Yeah, I still did it too early. So what should happen here is that Fox should do another backflip here, but he doesn't.
What?
So I just break and pray. And I got one, I think.
Okay, I got one. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I got 1 point, so that's just what I'm gonna take. Then we just shoot down the eyes, easy peasy. Little shrimp cocktail for everybody. Okay, and then brain time. And the strat with the brain is to break and hold a direction. And that usually gets you behind him. If you're looking at the mini map, you want to like aim for like the bottom of the B, I believe. Yeah, bottom of the B. He keeps throwing his little brain poop at me, which is really fun. Okay. And then we have escape sequence, and that's it. I mean, there's no more points to be found. You cannot farm points off of Fox's father, as cool as that would be. It's not possible to disrespect the dead like that. So,
Oh my god.
I know. So, yeah, you can't even shoot him anyway. He's just like invincible. Fun thing about the tunnels on the way out, the tunnels on the way out are RNG, so you have to pay attention. Like, you straight up have to pay attention to this part. Like, there's no like, oh, well, yeah, it's gonna be left, right, right, left. It's always the same length. Tunnels are always about 50 seconds to a minute long, depending on how well you boost. But it is RNG.
Well,
All right, and that's the PB. Yay.
Yay, GG.
So sorry for the extremely long chat about Star Fox 64, but it was quite a
No,
bit.
that's the whole point of the show, Kelsey.
I know.
That's literally the point.
I didn't think it was going to go that long. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you did a great job.
Thanks.
And you owe yourself some nice tea with honey in it because
Oh, yeah,
you
some
did a
fruit.
lot of talking.
I did do a lot of talking. It's a lot to cover. It's more than I covered. I was like, I'm not going to talk for like 30 minutes, I feel. But no, I definitely talked for a long time. But yeah, that's my new PB of 22:15. That puts me. I went from 13th place to 13th place on the Hit 64 leaderboard. I didn't move at all because the 12th place was 100 points ahead of me or so. It's like they're right at 2,300, I think. If you're interested in score running, hit64.net is the resource. You can see high scores there. You can see videos. You can find our Discord. You can see how cool everybody is. You can see the 2K% speed run. It's a lovely, lovely resource. Everybody is pretty cool. I only started score running maybe like a year and a half ago, and I've learned a lot from the folks in the community. They've been very, very helpful.
How many points of a PB? I was plus 11.
Yeah.
It could have been plus 26.
Also, please make sure to follow Kelsey. She's been linked in chat many, many times. There's a link in chat right now. Please go follow her.
Yeah.
She definitely
There's
deserves
difference
it.
Between, I'm in 14th place right
And
now.
also,
The
she
difference
does
between
quite a
me
lot
and
on her
13th
stream, not
place
just the
is
score running.
a lot
So
big.
one more
According
question
to
for
this
you.
anyway.
What
I think
what
me
can
and
folk
Arctic are really
expect to
close,
find if
actually.
they come to your channel?
Oh, yeah.
Between
So yeah, sometimes I throw down a score run. I do a lot of randomizer stuff. I think tomorrow I'm doing Paper Mario randomizer. It'll be like my second one ever.
96.
So that should be fine. I play a lot of Zelda. I love Zelda, so I did lots of Zelda randos. I do speed runs
Oh.
of A Link to the
I didn't
Past,
realize, Adam,
Super Mario
that,
Odyssey. I play a lot of Nintendo. Also, I play a lot of Picross. If you like a chill start to your morning, you will find me playing Picross around 10 a.m.
somebody else had gotten
Eastern
3,000
every day.
Nico.
That's what we do. Picross and tunes and coffee.
Very chill vibes.
Very chill.
And Juno. More
And
Juno.
And
So
my
if you
dog.
thought-
My
yeah.
puppy Juno, you'll see here.
Knees runner. That's cool.
Best dog. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for coming on the show. This was awesome.
Thanks for
You did
having
a
me.
Fantastic job. Super, super great. Chat, this is the
Thanks for
end
$5.
of the night here for Hot Fix, but make sure to
Hey.
tune in tomorrow for Challenger Approaching starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, as well as a special one-off afterwards. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
great. You're cute. Stick around. We'll be rating someone at the end of the stream. Thank y'all for watching. Good
Thanks,
night.
everybody. Bye.